TGIF. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. I know you are ready for the weekend to begin. So, welcome to the Just Ask Char advice channel. We will be getting started very soon. So get comfortable, get ready, and relax. We sincerely thank you all for your support. This channel is sponsored by you, the subscribers. When you want to hear another perspective for yourself or a friend, then just send an email for advice to JustAskChar@gmail.com. All right, we are ready to get this show started. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. There will always be a perspective or some advice that someone can benefit from and use. Now, here's your host of the show, Char Willie.
Hello, hello, TGIF, everyone. How are you? I hope you had a great weekend. You know, it's so close to the end of the month. I don't know where the month went. It's not like I really went anywhere. I mean, still social distancing and all of that, but for some reason, I just looked up and it's the 24th. What happened to it? Does it have anything to do with me having a good old time celebrating my birthday? Was that it? Anyone has an answer? I appreciate it. No one? No? Okay. It could have been, but I did enjoy my birthday, and I think I'm gonna tap on into it a little bit more for this weekend because I had some champagne. I tell you, it's been a while, and I just really enjoyed those bubbles. You just don't understand. They were beautiful. I had a good old time. I waited till Saturday. I didn't have anything Friday, but I had a great old time with those bubbles. I tell you. So what I ended up doing because I wanted some more, I bought another bottle of champagne Tuesday, and I had opened it on Wednesday. Oh yeah, it was wonderful. Just just lovely, everyone. It was lovely. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Back to the show. Welcome to the Just Ask Char advice channel here on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys coming through and enjoying the show, participating because that is what the show is. It needs your interaction. Of course, I can get up here and give my opinion and everything, which I do on the letters. So the recorded videos, those are the letters I get and I give my advice. And then I play the clip on the live stream. And that's when you guys can you know, join in and state what you may would have done, what you may would have not done, and you never know. You just never know. You may have something extra to give someone they never thought of, or even us, myself. You know, what do I know, as they say. But yeah, what else I wanted to state? I have a couple of things I'm going to state before I get started. I want to put my birthdays up here. I always do that. And then my list of my opening, because that's always important. I like to tell you guys some of the things that's going on. You know, that's important. All right. First thing on the docket. First thing on my list is for the economy. Subway has gone back to their $5 subs. Now, originally, they said they couldn't do it, if you remember. But all of a sudden, voila! Now all of a sudden, now they can do the $5 foot longs. Isn't that something? Now the only catch is you have to buy two, but it doesn't matter. The fact is they're $5 again. You can grab a friend or get two and eat one another day or however you want to do it. And I just find it very interesting that they decided to drop it down to $5. Now people will buy them because a lot of people stopped buying when they went up to 6 and 7 something. They're like, oh no, it ain't that good. Oh yeah. Let's see what else I have to tell you. Chipotle, they are giving a buy one get one free offer. I think it's by app only, but you're welcome to Google in your state and find out um, if you can do that for yourself, if you can get one. I don't really care too much about Chipotle, but um, I had the app because once you have the app, you can always click in there and see what they got for you. They give you something for your birthday. And then when they have offers, they'll let you know. So that's going on now. Panera Bread, again, they have the free coffee until September. They had extended it, but again, check your city, check your state. Okay. And their coffee is good. I'm telling you. Check it out. Also, Amazon. If you did not know, you will know today. If you are a Prime member and you have a delivery date that is not met, you can call them or you can chat with them. That's the fastest way. And let them know I was scheduled for delivery today. It is the end of business day and I do not have my goods. And they will give you a $5 credit. Okay? I promise you, I don't care what city and state you're in, if they miss your delivery date, they will give you a $5 credit. It used to be $3, I think, last year, but they bumped it up to $5 for 2020. So keep that in mind. It's a little tip for you. If you didn't know, now you know. Next thing is Dunkin' Donuts. They just ended their free Wednesday coffee for members. I'm not going to miss that because the coffee, the quality has changed. But just thought I'd just tell you in case when I mention it to you that you could get it every Wednesday and you see that you don't anymore. That is why they ended it on the 22nd. So this past Wednesday was the last Wednesday they offered the free coffee to their members. Also, Amadi, which is the founder of Fit Tribe Fitness, she now goes live, I would say every day, Monday through Friday for sure. And I want you guys to check her out because she does, exercise. And there's some tips on there. You can exercise with her. If you don't want to, you can always go back and check it out. But I say go and support her. There's nothing wrong with a good old stretch in the morning or you can watch it whenever it is, you want to watch it, but do support her. She has classes as low as $5. And it's not just something she's going to turn a camera on and tell you, okay, do this and do that. She's going to find out what it is you can do, what your limitations are, you know? Could be your because of injury, your age, anything. So she's not just going to take your $5 and say, okay, drop down, give me 50 push ups. Okay, class over, peace out. No, none of that. So do check Amadi out at Fit Try Fitness. Okay. All right. And let's see, one more thing and the last thing, which I think you guys already know about the unemployment. As of right now, tomorrow is the last day for the extended benefits, the PUA as they call it. But when I get more information, I will give you more. But in the state of Illinois here, there is a lot of fraud going on. People have been getting debit cards in the mail and they have not even applied for unemployment. And so they had to create an additional fraud department. Now, there was already a department for fraud to deal with it. They had to add an additional one because the people are getting more clever and taking people information, applying for unemployment benefits, hoping that they can grab that debit card because the money will be on their debit card. And of course, if you don't know someone applied for it and you didn't apply for it, you would never know. So that's going on in Illinois, and it's a big old scheme. So just to let you know, hey, be careful out there with your information. And at this time, you may want to monitor things. You just may want to monitor your credit just a little bit closer. Oh yes, DeAndre, we love them coupons and defer, defer, defer. That's right. That's the way to live. Broke five broke. We ain't got it. All right. Okay, and without further ado, I think we have someone that is around. Let's see who this lady is. I think I've seen her before. Let me see. Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage.
Classic Ruby, everyone. Classic Ruby.
Girl, I've been knocking. I've been ringing the doorbell. I've been here for like 10 minutes on this porch. It's raining outside. You can't let a girl in. Man, my weave got wet. How you gonna treat me this way? No.
I apologize. I apologize. Do you forgive
How you
me?
doing?
Do you forgive me? Do you forgive me?
You know what? I'm gonna try. I mean, first I need your blow dryer. I'm gonna try to dry out this weave. I'm telling you, girl, if I have to go back to that salon, pat, pat, pat. I'm patting my head because y'all can't see me. I have to tell you, I'm patting my head right now. You know the weave pat. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I be concentrating on this list. I put my finger and I kind of glance at the chat room, and then I go back to reading and just staying on topic. And hey, I'm working though. I'm trying. I am trying very
mm.
hard.
And it shows. It shows. Of course, shout out to all my birthday peoples here. Y'all at the end of July, Leos. And I'm the start of August, Leo. So got to show extra special love to y'all. And of course, Miss Regina's on that list. Of course, salutations to Curlin and to Art too. I love y'all. But Miss Regina's on the list. Of course she is. See, that's why, like, we're like soul peoples. We're like soul people. Now I understand why. We're born like less than a week apart. I love you. Well, in a few years, but still, we're born less than a week apart, right? So I gotta ask Miss Regina what year she's in. Like year of the Chinese years, like the year of the rat, year of the dog, year of the cat, whatever. I'm pretty sure I'm year of the rat. I wonder what Miss Regina is. Maybe she's year of the rat. You know what I
Mm.
mean? We're just so connected. Yeah, but happy birthday to all of y'all. You know what I mean? Hope you guys find something fun to do during, the whole COVID-19 shutdown situation. You can go outside, just wear a mask, right? So, yeah, you'll be all
Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm.
And I did forget one more thing. See, I told you I was trying. Something's not that good yet, but I'm gonna work on it. Um, I just put a link in the chat room to an article where South Carolina has extended unemployment benefits, and they just decided to do that 2 days ago. So if you're in
Mm,
South Carolina, check out that article, see if it applies to you. The place is huge. I think the state is huge. So check it out. Want to give that information in case you don't have it. Pass it to a friend.
nice.
How about that?
Nice, nice. Yeah, definitely. People need to stay on top of that stuff, even if it's not for you and for yourself, you know what I mean? You got, friends and family and whatever. We need to pass information along because that's what happens a lot. Even like in normal times, there's a lot of benefits that, apply to us that we could be using that, our nieces, nephews, kids, friends, whatever could be using, but we just don't know that it's out there. Right. And they don't make it like they don't scream and shout it from rooftops, right? Because they're hoping most people are going to miss benefits and stuff like that, right? So, you
Yeah.
know, we got to
Hmm.
make sure we share it the way other groups are sharing it amongst themselves. We've got to make sure we share it amongst ourselves. So definitely.
Oh yeah, I agree. And it's I found growing up that when we find something out, it's actually when it's over with it, or they made some changes to it, so it's not the same. And I'll give you one example for sure, and that was with bankruptcy. When
Mm,
we actually found out that we actually could do it as a people, that's when the rules changed, and they just it just was became a mess because you you have to be you can be taxed on some of it, so it's a new ball game when we found out about it. So
mhm, mhm,
that's one thing I do remember. They changed that rule real quick, not just sign right here. Okay, it's all gone. Peace out. Uh-uh. No more of that.
mhm. Yep.
So yes. So I have to give the information. Yes, I do.
Mhm. Exactly. Shar, you are always a fount of knowledge. That's just how you do. Right? You come to Shar, you're going to learn something. Even if you didn't think you were going to learn something, you're going to learn something. It's about benefits. Anytime there's any information about pension, even though it has nothing to do with Shar, she's
Pension.
going to be able to
What?
let you know.
What you
See,
say?
she'll be able to let you know about a pension going on in Hawaii in some obscure company. Shar will know about the pension, right? So,
Okay, I'll be thinking like, let me see, should I move there? If I move there, I can stay this many years. Yeah, I'll be calculating if that's the case. If I hear
mhm,
about it. Sure
exactly.
enough, I'm guilty.
Oh, we know, right? It's like you could make like a whole entire like bit on a sitcom about it, right? Anytime anyone says the word pension, Char's head pops out from behind the fence, like she's a neighbor. Pension? What y'all say about pension? Right? Popping out of the bushes. Pension.
Okay. I need to know these things. Shoot. Now tell me.
Right? I'm getting there. Give me about 10 years or so, and I'm sure I'm going to be on the same track. Like, what'd you say about pensions? How to get a pension, right? For what are these 401ks you discuss, right? I'll have my notepad and my pen, right? And my glasses that I can't use this prescription, but still glasses make you look smarter. So I have them perched on the tip of my nose. And as I'm taking my notes, because I want to look professional when I go in and I ask someone for a pension, right? I need one. Gotta start building, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I ain't trying to work when I'm 75. I know that much.
Okay. Because they keep pushing those numbers. I think when I first started, it was, let's see, 65. I think now it's at 72.
Ew. Yeah, no. No,
Yeah,
see,
I
I
think
don't
the
find that
last time
appropriate.
last time I looked, it was 72. They're probably moving another 3 years to 75, then another couple more years, 78,
Mm-hmm.
and then to 80 when I'm
Oh,
probably 80.
Right? Yeah. Just keep shifting it with you.
I'm like, I'm gonna make it. Let me sign. I want my benefits. Yeah,
Right?
right.
Nope. Every single year. No, see, that's my nightmare, right? Is that idea you never get a pension, you never stop working. That's it. Like they really legit want you to work till you die now. But of course, they're not gonna let you work somewhere like good, right? They're gonna make everyone become Walmart greeters and stuff like that. Like everyone's gonna be a Walmart greeter because you can't do the regular jobs. You can't see, you can't hear. Your arthritis is too bad. Blah blah blah. So they make you stay at Walmart and greet people. Can you
Okay.
imagine? No,
Need
or I
flexible
refuse.
hours. Yeah.
I'm not doing it. Not. So sign me up for that pension. All right.
Mm, mm. Just wrong. All right, good people. Today's topic got a letter from a young lady that is being chased around the bus. So I'll play that video and we get on into the topic.
Okay then. Here, let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I know people read and like, oh, what's she saying? And I want to say this before I get started. It's all opinion. It's some ideas, some things you can think about, see if it can work for you. It may not work for you. And it's nothing that you can take me to court for. It's my opinion. How about that?
Mm, true.
All right. Okay, let's share the screen. I think the volume was pretty good on this one.
Okay.
Okay. And let's see, avoiding, where is the darn? Oh, there it is. Bus shop shuffle. Today we have a letter from a young lady, and I'm ready to get right on into it. Dear Shar, there is this guy that catches the same bus that I do to go home from work. It wasn't always like that. This man was at a local bus stop where approximately 8 buses would stop there to pick up people riding southbound. One day, he decided that he would take the same bus that I take since it didn't take him off his route, so he can just sit next to me and jabber about nothing the entire bus ride. I switched buses to try to get rid of him, but he would just adjust his route each time. I'm not attracted to this guy, and his breath stinks. Any suggestions? Thank you so much for your letter.
She had to
All
add
right.
in and his breast stinks though. Like she had to like add that in. That was necessary.
I think that was important. She wanted me to understand her pain.
Like that. You know she added that in because she trying to be ignorant on purpose. Like, when you add insult to injury, right? Like we get it, right? The guy's not attractive at all. His efforts just come off as creepy because he ain't attractive. We get it. You didn't have to add it, and his breath stank, right? Like you just add that in at the end, right?
Hey, she thought that was important. So, hey, I guess she said, I'm going to have to add that in there.
that was really funny. Um, you know, what this reminds me of? Oh, what I think is it a movie? I think it might be a movie. But there's some episode or something. Yeah, no, it is. It's for sure a movie. And there's some guy, and this woman keeps dismissing this guy. This guy's like so in love with her. He keeps bringing her flowers every day to her workplace and stuff. And she's like, "Yo, I'm gonna call the police on you. I'm gonna get you banned out of here." And he's like, I don't know, maybe he's not the best looking guy, but he's tall, he's got some muscle, but he's really sweet and caring and compassionate, and he's looking past all her ignorance and seeing her as his lovely, beautiful flower. He's showering her with love every day, and she just won't have it because she's got her little impossible laundry list of what a man's got to be on the
Mm,
surface to get 5 seconds of her time, right? And instead of, hey, listen, this guy's really pouring it on thick for you, maybe give him a chance, give him a date. try it and see what happens. You might find that you actually like him, or he might find that he actually doesn't like you. But, like, I don't know. I have this rule, right? Like who likes you. And that's not to say that everyone who likes you, you're going to like. But I'm just saying, if you're currently single, you've been single for a while, you're not, you've got your little list of what a guy's got to be, and apparently none of those guys want anything to do with you, um, then maybe you need to stop and check yourself for a second. Maybe you're not in that category of people, which means two things. You can either accept the category of people that you're in, and start trying to date the people who do like you and see if that actually works for you, or you can do some self work. Do that work to kind of, what is it that you need to change to kind of, get a different kind of energy coming your way. And so that's what I kind of feel like. I'm like, she's going so far out of her way to avoid this guy. And like, honestly, right? You could just tell the dude, listen, you know what I mean? Here's some Listerines. Yeah, no, you actually do have to brush your tongue, right? That would probably fix a lot of the breast stank issue. And hey, maybe he's not the greatest looking guy in the world, but maybe if you got to know him, he might look better looking to you. I don't know. What do you think, Shar?
Well, I had to go by what she said, that she wasn't attracted to the guy. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
did mention to her about carrying some breath mints and mentioning it to him. But that's only because that's my personality. I don't find anything funny about laughing about people. I just, really don't find it humorous. So I figured if I can help you, well, let me help you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mentioned to her to, carry some breath mints, have a conversation, and let him know that she's not interested. So that way, because a lot of times we lead men on without knowing it. We'll keep
Yep.
talking to them, we keep smiling and all these different things time after time. And the guy is actually going out of his way. He
Mm-hmm.
really is. He's going out of his way to get her attention.
Right.
And she's not saying anything or had not said anything. So I'm looking at it as okay, let's look at this whole situation. All
Mm-hmm.
right. She's not attracted to him. Okay, I gotta give her, you know, I have to give her the advice from there. So you're gonna have to let him down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and immediately, have a conversation with him. Let him know before you get on the bus. You know, um, I know you're changing buses and everything because it's not out your way to ride with me to have a conversation, but you don't need to do that. And I really appreciate it. That's fine, but I'm spoken for. I'm not interested, or whichever term she wants to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't want to, lead you on. You doing all this acrobat on the bus and stuff. I just don't want you to do all that. Yeah, I mean the guy's going doing all these acrobats for buses and stuff and
Right.
routes and all of that. So I just want you to
Mm-hmm.
know that I appreciate and everything, but I'm not interested. So I just want to let you know. Oh, here's the bus. Let's get on. Now he has to take that information like, okay, I'm already here. Let me figure out what I'm gonna do. Let me go ahead, have this conversation and stop, doing this. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
he follows her, because I did tell her follow, because I'm assuming that's what she's feeling from what
Mm-hmm.
she mentioned, that she feels like that she's being followed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have some options to change, the time. Get on the bus early, get on the bus later.
Mm-hmm.
Try to dodge them that way if you're willing to do that. And that's
Right.
another reason why I titled it the way I did. How far is too far?
Mm-hmm.
So
And I
those
guess
are
that's
some
the
things.
thing, though, like, is to me, and I guess, I would love a little bit more information here, right? Because
Yeah,
it would be helpful. Because,
it is.
like, you just happen to notice there's a million reasons. Like, are you actually speaking to this guy? Does this guy speak to you at all? Because I mean, that's important, right? But What if
Right.
he's not speaking to her at all? And she changed bus routes, and then a little while later, she happens to notice him on this bus route. So now she's being followed. What if he had another reason for being on this bus route now? You see what I'm saying? Like, because sometimes people really are feeling themselves, and it's not
Mm.
like no one's stalking them. Because okay, so Ruby story time. So I used to get it into my head all the time. People were stalking me, right? Like, and I mean, like, legit stalking me. Like, they're gonna follow me to my house in their car and kill me. I mean, random people, right? Like, so I'm like driving home, and then some guy changes, like, 3 lanes over to exit the highway when I exit. Oh, I find it suspicious. Now I turn left, he turned left. Then I turn right, he turned right. Then I turn left, he turned left. Oh my God, he's following me, right? So now remember, this is like a common way of getting to my neighborhood that has like 10,000 houses. So it's not like, super uncommon that someone would take this route, but I still think he's following me. So then I would start doing crazy stuff. I'm not going to drive straight home, right? So I turn left, he would turn left. I turn right, then he turned right. Then I turn right again. He turned right again. Right? And I'm freaking out. This guy's here to follow me. He's going to kill me, blah, blah, blah. And then he turns right onto some other street and parks into a driveway. And then as I'm turning around and coming out, I see him walking up to his door. And I'm like, oh, so he wasn't stalking me at all. I started making crazy turns he was going to make anyway, because
Wow.
that's where he lives. Right. But I had it in my head that since he was making the same turns I was, and he happened to be behind me, that he was stalking me. Right. And it's like, no, that's not always the case. Right. So I wonder, like, is this guy really stalking her? Or is it just like this route happens to be convenient for the both of them? He's a friendly guy. So when he makes eye contact with her, he smiles and waves. Um, and she thinks someone being friendly is, I'm so in love with you and I want to have your babies, and you know what I mean? And she's taking it too far. Like, could she just be imagining that this guy's following her when he's just a friendly guy? And actually, if she had stayed on the original bus route, eventually he would have been on this one anyway.
I get you. That is a great imagination. Um, I don't think so. And let's say it is. I would just rather kind of stick to what the information I have. And that's why I said the goal of the channel also is to help people one on one. That way we can ask questions. And I
Exactly.
would do it. And then, but how I'm going to do it is I would, um, you know, prep that person or talk to that person, ask them are they comfortable just, coming on the show. We have the one on one. If they're willing to be, have a conversation with everyone that, decides to join, that's another story because they may not. They may not be
hmm
comfortable enough. And I don't want to
Right.
make the person uncomfortable because, again, this is just a show for advice. So that's important.
hmm
But just going by the letter, let's say what she says is true, you know?
Right. Right. Okay. So going by what she says is true. And see, this is another thing though too, right? And you did bring up the point, like, are you inadvertently leading him on? Because the thing is, on one side, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, he's not getting my clear signals. But you have to remember something about men, right? Is they're not super great at reading nonverbal communication, especially from women. They're not very good at reading emotion on women's faces. This is actually true even in relationships, right? Like they've done a whole bunch of studies on this. When a man looks at a woman's face and she's got, little things, you would think, oh, I'm portraying disgust, I'm portraying anger, I'm portraying hurt. Right? Men don't see these differences very easily. Even in women, they know very well. So you might think, you don't want to be ignorant and yell and scream, but look, your body language is clearly saying it all. But men aren't reading those things well with their brain. Their brains just aren't picking it up, right? So you do have to be clear. You actually have to say it. And that makes a lot
Yes.
of us really uncomfortable. It does.
Yes,
Um,
it does.
right. We don't like to get into, I know people don't believe this about Black women, but it's true. We don't actually like to get into these types of confrontations. We would rather send out, fu signals, and you just take the hint and leave us alone. right? Like that's what we're hoping is going to happen. We don't want to have to do this, but you actually really have to, because until you do, like men are not going to get those little subtle hints. And on top of the fact they won't get the little subtle hints, is even if they get your hint, they might not read it right, right?
Yes.
So if a guy really likes you, right, and he sees you as like, you know, an angel from heaven, and then he does read a negative a sign from you, he's going to think it means something else. He's going to think maybe you're having a bad day. Maybe, you know what, you're having a rough week. Maybe your boss is really being a jerk. You know, maybe you just think that he's just like all the other guys and he just needs to show you he's not, right? He doesn't understand that on a fundamental level for you, he's just not going to work for you, right? And so unless you say it, he's not going to know. We have to learn to speak out, you know, and we can do that with respect. We don't have to be disrespectful. We don't have to be rude. You definitely don't have to tell him his breast stank. And you definitely don't have to use that phrasing if you're going to say it, right? But like you do have to say what's on your mind. You really do.
Now back to the breath stinking. Only because more now think about this. Have you seen more people just making fun of people with their breath stink instead of gently pulling them to the side to help them, to tell them?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because of
Absolutely.
that is the reason why I would tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
because too many people will just go ahead and make fun and all that kind of stuff. And I always believe in making a person better for the next person. I really do. I would rather just go ahead. I'm still not interested in the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate and everything. I don't know. I don't know if you have a missing tooth or something. I'm not sure, but your breath smells a little bit here. Here's a mint. Here, take this. And have
Yeah.
continue talking with him like nothing happened. He would appreciate it. I think
Right.
so. And if not, that's fine. He doesn't want to change. And a lot of people don't like to change that don't um for whatever reason, ego, pride, whatever going on. So that's on him. But
Mm-hmm.
because of that, that is the reason why I would actually tell the guy. I really would.
Well, yeah, and see, there is a slight risk in doing that. So, because I'm actually the one, right? I'm the one who would. I would tell people things in general. Another Ruby story time. I know, but I'm so full of them. I can't help it. So, when I was in the ninth grade, right, I had this determination in my head that high school was supposed to be the best 4 years of everyone's life. And so I was so anti-bullying and anti-making people feel like outsiders and outcasts and, stuff like that. So I was the kind of person, so if I heard someone was being made fun of for some reason, right, and I listened to the reason and it was something that was fixable or controllable, my goal in life was to go meet that person and help them out, right? That was literally why I would seek out these people to help them. Because you might not know. First of all, you might not know people are making fun of you, or you might not know that what's happening with you currently is abnormal but fixable. So there was this girl. I will never forget the situation. Her name was Sarah. Um, uh, I have all these stories about Sarah later, but anyway, at this
Okay.
moment, I don't know Sarah from Can of Paint, and now a whole bunch of my friends had a class with this girl, and they were making fun of her. Oh, she's dirty, she's nasty, she's got the acne, her hair's all oily, she's so gross, blah blah blah. So she was already turning into like this big fat, literally joke, in school, and I wanted to help her. So I asked around till I found a girl who said she knew who she was, and I said, and she's like, "Why are you asking?" I said, "Well, a lot of people are making fun of her." But actually I know some tricks. Like, she was a white girl, and I was like, I know some tricks actually for how to, bring down that oil level in your hair and stuff like that. So I just wanted to talk to her and help her, really, right? So she said, "Oh, that's so nice of you. Okay, well, I'll let her know." All right, cool, right? So now I'm waiting, I'm walking around, and the one of the only black girls, actually no, she is the only black girl in the ninth grade, comes running up to me, and now she's nose to nose with me, and I'm like, "Hey, Chantel, what's up?" And she's like, "You making fun of my friend?"
Oh.
uh, "Who's your friend?" Right? And she's like, "Oh, I don't try to play with me. I thought we were gonna be cool, but you're making fun of my friend. She's been my best friend since like the third grade, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Who are you talking about?" who did I make fun? Like, I was so confused, right? And she's like, Sarah. And I'm like, oh, Sarah. No, I was trying to find her to help her. I don't even know who she is. Oh, really? You don't know Sarah? She turns around to the group of white girls behind her and says, do you know her? And I'm like, which one of them is Sarah? And then she finally puts her hand up. I'm like, oh, it's you. Do you know me? Have you ever met me? Have you ever seen me before? No.
Wow.
Do we have classes together? No. I don't know this chick. I don't know her. So how could I be making fun of her? I'm like, and then I look over at Jen Edwards. Yeah, I'm putting her whole name out. That girl was such a mess. She was a mess the whole 4 years of high school. She loved drama. So she liked to, like, broken telephone. She would kind of lie, put twists on stuff as she passed messages along. So now what I meant to be a good deed turns into this whole thing. And I explained, I said, listen, I heard people making fun of her about certain things. And I'm like, I don't know if she has friends or not or whatever. I was just trying to find out who she was. Right. And, I actually know some tips and tricks. That's something that my stepmother, fought with and she won. So I wanted to help her with the oily hair thing. That was it. Oh, yeah. Now you're saying my friend has oily hair. She's pushing me and whatever. I'm like, okay, so we're going to get suspended like the first week of school as the only 2 Black girls in our grade. This seems like a smart plan to you. Really, Chantel? Really? Yeah. So she backed off, right? But the point is that me trying to find this girl and try to help her was not a good thing, right? People don't react well. When you're saying something and trying to help, people take it as an insult. They take it as it's just a further attack. They take it as, well, you should turn a blind eye to it, right? Because if you're going to address it directly, then it's an insult, right? I don't see it that way. I would rather someone just come tell me, yo, girl, your breath been stank all week, right? What the hell's going on? Well, what are you eating? Here, listen, take these tablets, and use this kind of toothpaste instead. You might want to go to an orthodontist. You might have halitosis. I would rather someone come and tell me. I'm being real, right? I would rather someone do that than allow me to keep talking to people and everyone's holding their breath when I'm around, right? That's me. But not everyone's like that. People get really, really sensitive about knowing the truth. And then their friends get sensitive about their friends knowing the truth. So, there is some risk to it. There is some risk. I got to admit, there is some risk to doing the right thing and just being like, hey, listen, which means then you got to find sensitive ways of doing it. Right? Like,
and I would rather do it than not. So if you like, well, you ain't got to tell me that, because they'll notice, trust me. They'll walk around, they'll notice people look at them funny or whatever it is. And they'll remember, wow, Char, tried to tell me gently, They'll remember that. I don't care if it's 10 years from now, but it's not going to be that long. But they'll know and they'll remember that. And then maybe once they grow up, they may thank you one day.
mm-hmm.
And I'd like to welcome to the panel. It looks like we have a birthday person here.
Greetings. Regina! Happy birthday!
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies. Oh, y'all are my favorite.
Y'all know. Right? You are my favorite. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows we come second. I mean,
everyone
Char, I love you and everything, but come on, it's Miss Regina.
Yeah.
You guys, what's going on?
Well, I'm still celebrating a little bit. I think I'm gonna buy me another bottle of champagne.
Nice.
Maybe Sunday. Work on that Wednesday. And I work on it Wednesday. I'll tell you why, because I enjoy the show that I'm doing over on GSRN called Keep the Beat.
Yes, and it shows, Char. It really does.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. And those that's in the chat room that have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to let you know what I'm talking about in just 1 second.
Hi, this is Char Willie from the JustAskChar Advice Channel. Join me and Classic Ruby for a radio segment called Keep the Beat. We broadcast every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from gsrn-radio.net. We discuss music, go down memory lane, and interact with the audience in the chat room. Just press the icon that is a speaker, press play radio, and 15 seconds after the commercial, the fun begins. You'll have access to emojis, gifts, and a lively conversation in the chat room. If you missed the live broadcast, you'll be able to listen to the replays on Mixcloud. Just follow me at JustAskChar Advice Channel on Mixcloud, and you will receive the email once the broadcast is uploaded. We look forward to seeing you soon. And until then, enjoy this show. Peace.
And it's just a
Woo!
great time.
Right?
It is
It's cool,
really a
right?
great time. It really is. Drinking the
Yeah.
music, ooh, music and some drinks. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. It is
Yeah,
awesome. You guys do a great job. It is really lovely. I really enjoy it. I really do.
me
Just
Thank you
listening.
so
too.
much.
Yeah, I really do listening.
Right? I listen and I don't even like the sound of my own voice. I'm gonna be real. Like I can't stand the sound of my own voice. So
Mm,
normally like I don't listen back to any shows or anything because I can't stand listening to me. But I actually like listening to our show.
yeah.
I really enjoy it. I sit back, I'm like, yeah. And then, the songs come up and I'm like, oh yeah, I love this song, girl. Like I didn't know it was there, but I didn't. It's like I forget. I don't know. So it's such a good time. Y'all gotta come by.
Yes. Yes. Y'all, you all's personalities blend very well. You bounce off of each other very well. I just love it. Everything about it. I just love it. Kudos to both of you. I'm just so proud. My
Aw.
good
Thank
friend
you.
and my Leo sister just make me very proud.
Aw, thank you, girl.
Big
Like
old
y'all,
hug.
right? Well, y'all know I couldn't do it though, Shar. Though, like, listen, Shar is the magic. We all know that. We all know Shar is the thing that keeps things running smoothly and keeps Ruby from falling off the rails while she's panicking because the littlest thing is confusing to me, right? And Shar's like, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry. I got this, Ruby. You got this, right? And then she'll just like leave me cues, right? So then I'm like, oh, okay, it's my turn, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it works out.
Yeah, yeah, the good setup and it was what was mentioned on one show that Shar is the good you referred to as the Quincy Jones. Was it the Quincy Jones? Was it
Yeah,
the
that's
reference to you? Like you
yeah.
can set them up, baby. Give them the music, you can give them the language, you can give it all to them, and just sit back and watch.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
Yeah. Thank you, DeAndre, for that title. That was very nice. I appreciate it.
Hmm. See, that's the thing, and y'all listen because, and apparently, right? Like, DJ Music was saying, he was looking around and he has not actually heard another show like ours, like anywhere. Like we're original, so go figure on that one. But I'll tell you
Mm.
one thing. Y'all want to learn a little something about music while you're enjoying, story times and, banter and, back in memory lane, whole bunch of stuff, right? Shard's got some music knowledge, y'all. Okay.
Ooh.
Shard drops some music knowledge and you're like, what in the really? I had no idea. I'm telling you, she will school you. You think you know R&B. You don't know R&B yet. Shard's going to teach you. You got to come through.
Well,
Yeah.
my knowledge ends with the mumble rapping. Once they came into play, I unplugged.
Me too. I can't lie, me too. I unplugged before them, to be honest. Like, my God. But yeah, no. Salutations to Generation Z and y'all's great music. But I'm gonna stick back over in the '90s, early 2000s, '80s. You know how we do.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Regina, we were speaking about avoiding men you're not attracted to, and this young
Yeah.
lady, she had been changing bus stops and trying to,
Mhm.
shake the guy, and it did not
Yeah.
matter. He, was still. She said following him. That's how she felt. He was following her, and so we were just talking about some ways to, avoid men that you're not attracted to, but how far is too far? You don't want to be mean and nasty. And if you have anything to share as far as experiences, please do. Would love it. Uh-oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh, yeah.
Let me get my tea.
So
Okay.
wait, right? Get the sipping, girl. So
Girl,
okay.
I've been sipping from the time I knew it was Regina's turn. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So number one, I think we can't control what energy we give and how we can't control. No, we can't control the energy that we give and how some people receive it. Okay. And when I speak of our energy, I'm speaking of, because it could be your smile. I heard, of course I listened in first. And so, I heard the conversation. It could be your smile. You may be doing something unknowingly. It could be the way that you carry yourself, and that individual is attracted to that. You never know. And so you can't control how they respond, but yes, you can control how you respond. And Ruby, I love you so much. No, it can't be your breath stank. Get away from me.
Right?
It shouldn't be. At least it shouldn't be.
Mhm.
You know. So so here's a Regina story. Had a college classmate, had no interest, never connected in college at all. Once we graduated and kept coming back for reunions, that's when the connection happened. It's like, hey, let's give a call. Okay, how you doing? Yeah, I'm in Dallas often. I drive through there. I'm a truck driver. Da da da. Okay, and started talking. And I don't get good meals out here. And Char knows that I love to cook. So I'm like, well, if you ever through Dallas, and especially on a Sunday, I'm definitely throwing down a Sunday meal. You know, um, sure. If you need a plate, I'll be glad to help you with a plate, because I know keep eating at these truck stops and things like that. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some truck stops that have some good food, but if you just want a home cooked meal, I don't mind doing that. I would do that for anybody. And I don't know where, I think because I would communicate with him. He'd be on the road, I'm out here driving, and I don't know what was going on in my life at that time, but I would just talk to him. He said, I'm driving, I got 7 more hours to go, just need to knock off some times. And I would just sit and talk. And yeah, you remember this happening at school, and you remember this. And so I think that's where the connection happened. And then I fed him too. I think that's where the connection happened. Then it became, we ought to go ahead and get together. No, go ahead. No, not just go ahead and get together. No, there needs to be some interest on both parts, and I don't have interest in you in that way. And I think, and I had to think back, and I even shared this with my good friend. I was like, because it seems like he was the man on campus at that time, because he lived off campus. His family was, his dad was a instructor. His mom was part of the town that we lived in. She was a school teacher in town. So they were a middle class family and well to do. And so I think everybody wanted him, but I didn't. And I think that frustrated him. And so now here we are as adults, like, who you think you are? You don't want me. And I was never interested. I was just happy that I was able to connect, just able to help out, wasn't trying to do anything, you know, um, to ruffle that. And he just, it kept forcing it. And I don't understand. And I'm like, then this is the way I nicely try to put it. Usually, when you're interested in some, this was my thing. Usually, when you're interested in someone, wouldn't you want that person to have, if not the same, more of interest in you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, okay, that's not here. I enjoy friendship. I really enjoy our friendship. Love it. Thank you for the happy birthday, Andre. Thank you. I just want that to be the happy part of us. Can we be friends? The best lovers and best relationships come out of friendships. You're absolutely right. Not this one. So no matter what, I think when you say, when the young lady said she's not attracted to him, I was not attracted to him. Um, and you don't want to feed into it. I'm not trying to dress a certain way. I'm not trying to be a certain way. But like I said in the beginning, you can't control what other people are attracted to. And I think the attraction was I communicate, I talk, and I cook. And I think that's where, Betty Wright's song, you can't show your teeth to every guy you meet. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be smiling and be friendly. I don't know. You have to be careful. And I think that should even that's just my input on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I think that's, that saying, you can't show your teeth to every guy you meet. It's true. Unfortunately, right? There are different kinds of guy. And I think we have to, in the same way, we don't all want to be treated like the same woman, because not every woman's the same, right? We can't treat every man like they're the same. So, just like you got some real ignorant guys who, even when you say no to their face, they don't hear you, or you got the crazies or whatever, right? You got really sensitive guys who do take the littlest bit of non-acknowledgement as rejection, even if you were trying to be coy and flirty. So different guys take different signs in different ways, right? Like I said, men are not good at reading women's emotions. They're very good at just looking at your face and deciding that they see whatever it is they want to see. um
So true. So true.
right. So
So true. And you know what? And I'm going to go back to what Char said. Maybe go back and think, or not, or maybe was it you, Ruby? Because I even thought about it. Maybe I'm missing something with this man. Maybe some, because, and and I need to add to that. I did not like how he talked about the young lady he had just left, relationship with. I was on I was on the tail end of him leaving out of that house and then getting on his own again. And so I did not like how he communicated about her. That's what, let's go ahead and say that, because we were like just friends, and so he was very vocal about how he felt about her, and so and I didn't like that. So I didn't like that part of him as a man. Um, and then but years passed, and I'm even going to say not too long ago, I said, you know what? Maybe I'm missing something. Lord, if it's meant, show me it's. I'm going to even drive through, because we don't even live in the same town. But I was happening to drive through, heading to Mississippi to my family's, my brother's 50th birthday. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stop through. I'm going to
mm,
stop through and say hello, just to see. And it was not there. It still was not there. I still his conversation, and you know what it is. He got up in my face. You know what it is. You scared. You scared of a real man to step up, and I'm like, no, that's not it. There wasn't a tingle. There wasn't a twitch. There wasn't a nothing. There was nothing there.
No
Absolutely
twitch.
nothing. No twitch. She didn't move. She didn't even move. She was like, you bet not. You
but you know what though? I'm gonna say this because and I know I've told this story before, right? But one of my girls, so like everyone was, I was engaged and whatever, and so everyone was starting to think, hey, maybe it's time for me to settle down too. And so when we were in Jamaica, all of us together, my mom actually set her up with one of our cousins. right? And so she went out, well, not one of our cousins, one of her husband's cousins. And so anyway, they went on this date and we were all excited, like, oh my God, like, okay, how was the date? How was the date? Right. And first of all, she said, well, first of all, I have my list of 700 things and he doesn't follow any of my 700 things. So, but I don't think there was a spark. I don't think there was a spark, right? There's nothing there. Right. So they went on like a second date. She's like, no, for sure. There's nothing there, whatever. Right. So okay, so I guess she's single, right? She's single and whatever. And then, we're about 4 months later, is like right before the new year. And so, she's telling me how she's engaged. And I said, to who? Right? And she said, what do you mean to who? Oh, remember the guy, the cousin? You're engaged to the cousin? I thought there was no spark there. Right? She's like, well, I thought there was no spark there too. Wait, what? That was 4 months ago. How are you engaged? Right? Well, that's the thing. She had written it off because it didn't go exactly the way she had thought, love was supposed to go and the way connection's supposed to go and who exactly he's supposed to be and whatever. But they had stayed connected as friends over the phone and whatever, and that had grown and that had blossomed and they had this connection, right? Now you fast forward, what are we, 4 years later, right? She's married. They've got a baby on the way. Wait,
Wow.
no, wait, hold on. No, she had a baby. Is she pregnant again? Oh no, I'm thinking about the other friend. I don't know. There's too many babies coming, but they have at least one baby. Plus his son. They live in, Canada now, right? Because he used to live in Jamaica. So him and his son live in Canada now. They have a baby. And they're very happy, right? And I remember asking her a few months ago, I said, so now y'all are together and whatever. How much of the list does he fulfill? Because I've been having this conversation about this list for 10 years with her. None of it. Okay. And how much of the list are you missing? None of it. Weird. So there was no sparks because you had dismissed this guy because he didn't follow the list, right? So you weren't willing to open up and see if there was a spark because he didn't hit the first 25 points on the list. So he wasn't good enough to have a spark. You didn't actually look to see if there was a connection. You looked to see if there was fulfillment points on a list. And I think that this is what a lot of people do is they're walking into this concept of dating and meeting new people and whatever, completely walled off by 10,000 tons of titanium. Right. And then what they do is they've got their list. And so if you fulfill the list, then they'll open up a tiny chink in the armor and let a little bit through and see if there's a spark at all. Right. But I don't even think that they're looking for a spark. They're just looking for, well, if he's got all these things on the list, this means he's a good man. That means it's going to be this. It means it's going to be that. And it doesn't mean anything. Right. And I think that people need to drop some of that a little bit and be a little bit more open in moments. Figure out do you even like this person? Because you might.
Right.
That person might just happen to be around all the time. They're not even trying to necessarily stalk you and follow you. Maybe the universe keeps putting him in your path because he is perfect for you. But did you give it 5 minutes? Did you try for 5 minutes? Drop the armor for 5 minutes and see.
Yep. Yes. Yep. That's true.
Right?
I totally agree. I totally agree. Because giving that individual the opportunity to even show that, because I was like, okay, I heard him talk this language about other women, but okay, would I be able to handle it, or would he even portray that to me? And I even had to do that and didn't realize it until afterwards with my ex-husband. Okay, he does that with his friends. He talks that way with his friends, but he wouldn't talk that way with me. No, no way, but it showed itself. And the same thing happened with this guy. I was like, no, I don't like how you speak about women, and even, and I'm getting real deep here, like how he would say, all mama do is fuss all the time. I see why daddy, used to try to leave the house and blah, blah, blah. Your mother is now what in her, we're 50 what now? And your mother is 80 what now? Dude. And you're living with her. See, and not you're living with her. You're not living with her you probably helping take care of her, but you're not living with her because she asked you to come, so it was some other things there behind the scenes that I look at like, those were flags for me,
Right.
and so yeah. And, and to this
Hmm.
day, I cannot. No, no, no.
Okay, I'd like to welcome Nicole to the panel. She's just arrived.
Hey, how you
Greetings,
Hey
doing?
greetings.
girl. Hey girl,
Hey,
what's up?
How's it going? Happy birthday to all the Leos and everybody else with birthdays
Girl, that's
that we
like
may
everyone on this
be.
panel. Like
I know.
everyone on this panel is born within a 2 week period. That's crazy.
That is crazy, isn't it? Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Happy
Beautiful.
birthday to you all. Blessings and
Likewise,
all that,
likewise.
Yeah, likewise to you.
blessings and hair grease and everything else.
Right?
Okay.
Especially hair grease. Girl, listen, I need some blessings of hair grease because I live in Canada and the borders aren't open, which means when we run out of a
Mm,
product that from an American company, we just don't have it anymore. That's just it. Like that's I'm out of so many
mm.
Shea Moisture things I cannot get back right now. So yes,
That's funny.
please.
I just put Shea Moisture in my hair a few minutes ago.
You see?
About the shower.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Love the product.
Mhm. Oh God, love them. Love them so much.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about this, Nicole?
I'm just thinking what Miss Regina was just saying. Yeah, you have to be humble when you're in that situation.
Hmm.
As a man, as anyone, you have to maintain some humility and be more mature about the things you say and do, and that just, I mean, just the disrespect that she was describing, you were just describing. That's just wow. I don't know.
Hmm. Well, I think
Mm,
that's the thing though too, right? Is a lot of times I think that we equate a lot of things with disrespect. And this is the problem. So like if I don't like this guy and he's hitting on me, somehow I feel disrespected by that. And then instead of just saying no thank you, I can say no thank you disrespectfully. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Or,
mhm,
if there's something about the way that you're moving, um that makes me uncomfortable, I take that as automatic disrespect. And so again, so I return it with disrespect. So I think the problem is right now in this Western world, we are just overall very disrespectful people. And we
mhm,
move and think and negotiate everything in really disrespectful ways. And that's really problematic because now you've got a whole bunch of people who are walking around real angry. Like, I mean, there are some
mhm,
scary things happening out there. Let's be real. There are women who are dying from saying
mhm,
no thank you reasonably, right? Because I've got a man, I'm actually engaged, my man is here in the bar, right? And
mhm,
so no thank you, you seem like a nice guy, but I'm already taken. And the response is to kill her dead in her seat. I mean, this is not a reasonable or an everyday thing, or that's the way every guy reacts. But at the same time, I think that we do have to talk about the fact that women are scared to tell guys no,
yep,
or to
very
engage
true.
in whatever because of that. Because maybe you haven't been shot before, but maybe you've gotten a really aggressive reaction, or you've seen a friend get a really aggressive reaction when they said, no, I'm not interested, right? A guy pushing up on her, yelling in her face, making threats at her, stuff like that for saying no. So then it's like, okay, you know, then I wonder, well, is that what she's asking you? She's scared. She's scared to confront this thing, Shar. She doesn't want to just
mhm,
say no because maybe she's
mhm.
scared of what the fallout's going to be.
Yeah. With myself, I when I let a person know, let a guy know that I'm not attracted to them, just, oh no, thank you. Oh, I'm just here. I'm just, are you here waiting on someone? No, I'm just here by myself, and I make that
Hmm.
mistake so many times of just being upfront, just like, and then that's happened where I'll say, oh, I'm just here, enjoying the scenery, at the beach or something. Like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I'll take a seat next to you. I didn't ask you to
Oh.
sit by me, player. Hold
Yeah.
up, player. Hold up now. Hold up now. Like, what's going on here?
Mhm.
What's all this? I didn't ask you. Like, there's not even enough room. Oh, well, let me scoot closer to you. Okay, no. I literally have
No.
gathered my things and left. Just walked away, and that, in my case, that worked. And he just like sat there, like whatever, dumbfounded or something. And I didn't have much to gather. Just grabbed my bag and put my phone in my back pocket. It was like, okay, you have a good day, and just walked off because, and
Wow.
that worked for me. But I grabbed my bag because if anything else pop off, at least I'm a ways away from you where I can just, spray you real quick and then run, something.
Right.
But yeah, women have to be ready sometimes to protect themselves and in those situations. It just so happened that didn't happen for me. I think he was drunk. So that he wasn't gonna move that fast, I don't think. But yeah, I agree. Sometimes it gets to the extreme, and you never know that person's like experiences and what their intentions are that day.
Well,
You know.
in this case, because I'm not sure if you heard the letter. So in this case, this is a guy that's on her bus route. So
Oh yeah.
and so it's like, okay, so she decided to change bus routes, and now
Mhm.
he's on that bus route too. So it's
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
she's clearly trying to send the leave me alone signals, I'm not interested in you signals, and he's not getting it, right? And she's not addressing it directly, which,
Right.
Right.
we can only speculate as to why. But like in that case, what would you do? If you see this guy, it's like, he clearly is trying to get your attention, trying to show you he's interested. You're trying to show him, I don't want to talk to you at all, leave me alone. And then it gets to the point where he's not getting it. So you change bus routes. Now he's on your new bus route. Now what do you do?
Oh yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
I had to process that. Because it's like you
Yeah.
can only get up and move just so many seats before you end up next to the older lady that's got all the bags, and she's pre-COVID or something.
Now,
I don't know. I gotta think on that one.
now for that, she had went on to talk to him because when she mentioned to me that his breath stink, there was some conversation going on. So she knows that much. And
Mm,
I mentioned to her that she may want to change the time that she catches the bus, either
yeah.
earlier or late. But that may not work for her because some buses, like we have here in Chicago, if you go into the suburbs, some of them are timed. And if you miss that one, you have to wait an hour for the next one.
Right.
So I don't
Hey.
know her situation, but I did give her that option, to think about. But you have to approach it. And that's something that, I suggested that she do. You have to,
Yeah.
Hmm.
you know.
Mhm.
It has anyone thought about, you really making me uncomfortable now, or for her actually to say that, and has any thoughts, what are your thoughts about saying that to him?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Ladies,
that's
that
an option
what,
too.
you're making me uncomfortable right now. I'm really okay, thank you so much, I appreciate you talking with me, but I'm really focused, and even to the point where putting your headphones on where you have to
Hmm.
distract yourself, something, to say that I'm really tuning you out, like I really don't want to communicate with you.
Right.
What are
You
your
just bring a
thoughts
book,
about that?
bring a book with you, and go old
No.
school and put the book right up to your face.
Oh,
Go
well, I'm
not too far up to your face because you gotta make sure you have a good eye line, sight, where you can see stuff around, but have a book up to your face, have some or up to you, and then have some shades on or a hat, shades. I'm thinking of disguises. I'm thinking of things like that. But you're right, Miss Regina, to have your body language says a lot. A lot more than what you can say out of your mouth, and
yeah.
that should be somewhat of a barrier. But it's also good to remember that, as far as I know, most buses in inner city have cameras on them, and I'm surprised that they haven't. She hasn't reported it with like a some documentation. To back and let him know, like I'm documenting this. This is going to be documented. Why are you doing this? You're going too far. Plus, your breath stink. Like, come on, man, come on.
Yo, she
I mean,
just
I
threw
wouldn't
that
say it
in.
like that, but come
Right?
on, man.
Oh boy.
That's so
I'll be
ignorant.
nice. Like, would you like a mint or something? And oh yeah, thank you. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go to the front. I need to get some more air. So I'm like I'm gonna slide off. Like, it's like I just I don't know that situation is real testy because you don't really the dude is into you, but it's like how far is he you
Mhm.
know that's the hard question.
Right.
Yeah.
What are his
Yeah.
intentions, you know?
What is
What are his intentions? And
what is
what are
true
her
intention?
intentions? See,
Yeah, what is
that's what
yep.
I wonder though, right? I mean, is there a part of her, right, that likes the attention? Right?
Mhm.
Because the thing is, and I mean, and it depends, right? But it's a little bit flattering that someone, really enjoys your company. You don't got to be alone on the bus. You don't have to be alone after a hard day. So sometimes you like the attention. I mean, sometimes are you stoking the attention because you like it, and sometimes you're like, God, why can't he just realize I just want to be friends on the bus? Right? Like I don't want to be your
Mhm.
real friend, but I want someone to pay attention to me on this 45-minute drive. Like, I mean, are you in some way feeding into it? Because if you are, right, then it's unfair to be pitting all of the blame on him. Like, well, he should know. And that's why I wonder again, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is she talking to him? Because there's got to be some way that she knows for sure, right? She seems really sure this guy's following her, right? So it can't just be because he's just smiling at her, right, from across the bus,
Yeah.
or because he hits on her on occasion, because dudes do that, right? They just hit
Mhm.
on people, right? So it's got to be
Mhm.
more than that. They've got to be having some kind of conversations sometimes, right?
Yeah,
And
just
and
good
then
morning, hello. That's enough to be like, I'm in there, for him to feel like I have a
mhm.
chance, that could give him a lot of confidence right there. But I agree with Shar, what you were saying earlier with changing the time that she gets on the bus and trying to, scope out quickly, like within a few seconds, like the bus itself, and try to keep herself isolated because there's something about her that attract that type of dude, and there may be more than one on the bus anytime.
That's
And I think
possible.
that's important.
Hmm.
Something that some kind of energy that she's conveying to a man that would do that is bringing them to her, you know. And it is like Ruby said, it is flattering. It can be somewhat of a confidence booster when you are,
Mhm.
dealing with, like, maybe you had a bad day or something,
Mhm.
and you just like, that was nice of him to say that or do that. But that something ain't right about that whole situation.
Well,
Mm,
the thing
mm.
that concerns me though, right? I mean, she can change the time. She could change something. Here's the thing. She already did that. What did he do? He just changed with her. So that kind of tells me if he's really doing this, right, then he'd be willing to just change the time too. He'll just show up extra early, right? He'll show up an hour early if need be and just wait until she shows up at the bus stop and show up right after her, right? So I mean, if that's what he's doing, right? He's making himself casually available and always in her airspace, so that way she notices him and whatever, then he's going to do it anyway. And this is where it comes down to again, there's got to be some discussion about how do we appropriately directly address these things, right? So that way we're not cutting a man, off at the knees. We're not, shredding his ego. We're not, intentionally insulting him because, now we've let the fear build up inside of ourselves to the point where we're like super aggressive because we're scared. But we address it and, make it clear that, thanks, but no thanks. Right. Because I think until she really addresses him directly, no matter what little changes she makes, short of getting a car, so he just never sees her again, I don't really see, he's just going to switch with her. Right.
Yep, that's what happened. And this guy went so far as to even tell when I didn't show up at a reunion that we normally have. Yeah, I told them that we got together and we hooked up. What are you? We 50 years. What are you talking about? Your your old butt probably couldn't handle all of this anyway. I don't know.
Mhm.
Oh,
But the fantasy has gone. You know, if they've already created it, you
Hmm.
Mhm.
know, and that's what I was sharing. You don't know what energy you're giving off, what's
Hmm.
attracting that individual. You never know. And so
Mhm.
when they get on their own bandwagon, whatever you want, whatever boat, whatever they get on, and they're gone with it. They're paddling, and you're back on the land looking at them, what talking about where you going? I'm still over here. Why are you? And you're gone. you know.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
can't handle the truth.
What you say?
There you go.
What? That's,
Yeah,
that's right.
sometimes.
That's it.
That's right. So true. So true.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
And no matter how we convey that, you know, unfortunately, our society has said, well, the woman shouldn't have wore that dress. She shouldn't have done that. You know, you shouldn't have had conversation with them. Well, you know, if you speak to
Hmm.
me, I'm going to speak to you. If you want to engage in conversation, I'm going to engage in conversation. That's always been me. You know, I talk to anybody. You know, it's a shame,
Me
but
too.
homeless, I don't care.
Mhm.
You say hello, I'm going to say hello. You know, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing well. How are you? You know, I'm going to engage. And so if
Mhm.
I should not have done that because that takes you somewhere sexually or in an intimate way, that has nothing to do. My,
Energy you're putting out there, who are you drawing into you? Right? Because if
yeah,
you're drawing in the wrong kind of person, then you being friendly to the wrong kind of person is a problem. But with
it's
that being said, I'm like, I've always just talked to everyone. I've always just like whoever, man, woman, child, people talk to me. I'm like, hey, what's up? I might be having a day, but
yep,
I'll talk to you.
I'm going to speak. But I'm going to
Yeah.
speak.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that shouldn't take, at least we would hope it wouldn't take you on a tangent to think, oh yeah. And like what Nicole said, oh yeah, I'm in there. You know, just
Yeah,
because I
exactly.
said hello, just because I said hello back, really?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And
But
see,
see,
you know,
I
that's the
also
oh, go
see, my
ahead.
thing is though, like, because I interact with everybody, which means that
Mm.
everybody knows I'm married. Everyone knows I'm also not a whore, so therefore I'm not available because I'm married, right? So it's
Mhm.
never been. And when I wasn't married, I was dating. People knew. Well, I have a boyfriend, so therefore I'm not available, right? So I made that very clear in 45 seconds. I don't mind making it very clear and yet still being friendly about it. And so this is
Yeah,
where I said again, if you're not addressing it, right, you're not addressing that elephant in the room, right, you're keeping up the mystique. Maybe it's just a matter of because you don't want to lie, and I understand, and I don't think you should lie. I don't think you should lie. If you're not, dating someone, don't say you are. If you're not married, don't say you are, right?
that's
But you
true.
can say, you know what, honestly, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, not
And
interested.
that type of response
That's
a
it.
man would give is kind of, or even a woman would give, is to me, it's an example of how our society is right now, where just strangers communicating. It's like I watch a lot of 1970s black exploitation movies.
Hmm.
Um, and so even though that's not my generation, I just like the movies because I like to see
I can
like
dig
black
it.
people in love, greeting each other on the bus. How you doing, sister? Oh, I'm doing good, brother. And
Hmm.
they talking back and forth. And so, brother number one, right on, sis. Like that
I
kind
can
of stuff.
dig it.
I can
Hmm.
dig it for real. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I watch it and I'm like, oh, those are good old days. Even though I wasn't alive, I just
Right.
it's just like I feel like it's just so nice because people actually, even though it's a movie, my mom was like, oh, that was like real life back then.
Uh-huh.
That's
Hmm.
how it really was. People communicated. She's like, now you go places and everybody looking down. And I'm like, looking down. She's like, yeah, all looking at she called techno babies. And she was
Hmm.
like, no, looking at techno babies. And people aren't like out here, people don't say good morning and stuff. They just kind of look at you, whatever, and keep it moving.
Hmm.
And so when someone actually says something, people like, oh wow, if someone
Right.
says something to somebody who is used to that type of communication, that could be another thing too. Just playing devil's advocate. Like, okay,
Hmm.
wow, she said hello to me. Oh shoot, but you forgot to brush your teeth, homie. You know,
Uh-uh.
you forgot to hit that scope. You know.
You know what though? Actually, I will say this, right? Because what guys tell me regularly, right, is the reason why I rarely, if ever, have gotten a really negative response from guys, despite the fact that I've shut down a lot of them, is
Mm,
because I approach it always with a really friendly like way of going about it. So like I automatically put you into a friendly place with me,
Yeah.
and I speak to you as though like
mhm,
you're like a cousin or whatever. And so I would throw in a teasy joke. right,
Mhm.
while offering you the mint. I would, right? I would be like, oh, but you're for a steak. So for the next girl, here's a mint. Right. And I would like, ha ha ha, but I would still keep talking to you. So when I say
Yeah.
no to you, it takes a little bit of the sting off because I'm going to keep talking to you. Like, it's not me saying no doesn't mean get the hell away from me now. Like, it's cool. You're still a cool dude and whatever. And now I'm going to friend it up with you a little bit, give you a little mint, give you a little bit of tip about what you should do the next time, a little bit of teasy jokiness and whatever. And then boom, you're gone. Right now,
Yeah.
now his ego is going to sit there and think about the fact that he got rejected once you're already gone. But in that moment, he's not feeling rejected because you didn't sit there and say, no, I won't date you. No, you can't have my number. No, I won't even give you my time of day. And I think that that is the thing that really hurts them, right? Is like, yo, you think I'm not even worthy of the time of day? Like, you can't have a 2-minute conversation with me when I worked up the courage to come over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they are people too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So true. That's my true Leo sister over there. Because I was trying to. That's exactly what I was like. I reach out. Hey, what's going on down there? You doing okay? Still try to keep the communication going. I didn't get a happy birthday. I didn't get a happy Mother's Day. I didn't get anything.
Oh,
And I'm
Lord.
still reaching out. Happy Father's Day. Oh, I wish you the best. I know that you're loving on your granddaughter. Saw a picture on Facebook. Love, oh,
mhm.
good. I'm so glad to see you, Paw Paw, enjoying yourself. Nothing. He is no communication. None.
Mhm.
Nothing. None.
Yeah, I agree,
Right.
Yellow Rose. Yellow Rose said, she said, I try not to be mean. I keep it sweet. Yeah. So like with the mint or the gum, I always have gum in my purse. So I'm gonna take one out and I'm gonna pop one in. Oh, where are my manners? Would you like a piece of gum?
Mm.
Now, see, that's
You
where I
know.
differ. I'm
And I
not going to
usually have
ask
more than
you.
two flavors, and they're like, oh, and oh, you can choose which one you want.
Yeah, see, I got to
It don't
switch
matter
that up
which
a
one
little
you
bit.
choose. Just take a few. Actually, take the whole
Yeah,
bag.
they
Just
have
take
to
take
take
the
it.
whole pack.
Here's a pack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only option they have is flavored because they're going to have to take it. I'm not asking them
Mhm.
if they want one. I'm telling you to take one.
She said, "Por favor, please take
Yeah. No, well, I'll tell you why, right? See, I am more
Yeah.
direct, right? Like, I will tell
it."
you
Mhm.
that your breath is kicking. But again, like I said, I won't do that right away, right? Like, first, again, I'm gonna establish with you that you one of my boys, you one of my cousins now, right? So we family, and I want to help you help yourself, right? So for the
Well,
next girl who is available and could see you that way, bro, you got to fix that breast situation, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
seriously. I've had
Mhm.
conversations with random guys and they didn't know they were supposed to brush their tongue. And they actually thought
Wow.
it was gross to brush their tongue because then
Mhm.
all that stuff from their tongue gets on their toothbrush. And I'm like, so you would
That's
rather it in your mouth? Like, I'm confused, right? Like, so the toothbrush
Oh
is
my
for?
God.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh, it's gross to
Mm-mm.
clean my toilet because then all that stuff from the toilet gets on the toilet brush. Yes, that's the point. So I would just clean. Um, yeah, but some people don't have the same products you do. And, you have to realize that, like, there's a lot of people who honestly don't know, right? They don't understand that their dehydrated ass has now bred all kinds of bacteria inside their dry mouth and nothing's washing it down their throat, right? Like, I mean, and I'm being serious. Like, I've had real
Mhm.
conversations with dudes about this, right? And at first, it kind of makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. But by the end of it, they've learned some information. And you know what I mean? Next time they see me, they're like doing the finger pointing thing and the thing. I teach them about licking the back of their hand. So I'm like, yo, no, seriously, I'm serious. Your breath is really bad. You know how you can check? Okay, so you lick the back of your hand, right? Lick the back of your hand, and then you let it dry, and then smell it, right? If that smells nasty, that's what your breath smells like every time you talk, right?
That
So
Mhm.
no,
seems to work for me.
it's
I
true
would say,
though. It works.
you can well, I wouldn't try that, but you can taste that. Like, I don't know why people act like they, like you can taste that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know it's something
Mhm.
wrong. Like, come on, man. And there's another thing, like, with guys that, well, I mean, even women sometimes, well, nowadays, in closed spaces like 6 feet or more, I can
Mhm.
still smell you. You smell like sweat. Like, and you
Like
gonna come
crazy.
try to holler at somebody? No,
No.
no. Put your arms down. You're not sure.
It,
You're
Uh-oh.
it
not
was.
sure.
Have y'all seen the
Like,
meme?
don't be
Oh my
confident in that. Like, I know you probably worked out or everything just now. I don't need to know. Like, I can see you got workout leggings on. Go on
God.
now. That's how I feel. Like, what? You can't, I'm not attracted to that. Like, okay, yeah, you working out. That's cool. No problem with that. But don't try to step in the air. Like when somebody walk up to you, the wind, I hear the wind just be blowing. It's gonna blow in my direction at some point. Actually, it's gonna blow in my direction about 50% of the time. So 50% of the time, if you talking to me for a minute, 30 seconds out of that time, I've been inhaling this onion, garlic, cilantro, whatever, garden salad of a body you got going on. And this funk is just right in my face. Like I
Well,
can't offer
remember,
you no gum for that. I'm just gonna be like, dude, okay. There's a time where I actually just took the dude's number just so I could walk off. I was like,
Wow.
he was like, just take my number. I was like, okay, all right, thank you, bye. I was like, and I walked around the corner. I swear, I just threw it on the ground. I was like, I can't, because he was like, I ain't got my phone with me, but I really want to give you my number. I was like, all right, just give it to me then. Like dang, man,
no, but you know what though?
that was
You have to
crazy.
remember, a lot of guys. No, first of all, guys, their sense of smell is a lot weaker than ours is, right? And it's
Mm,
a lot less varied than ours is, right? Just like we can see more colors than they can. Right? We have a really really sensitive sense of smell and taste,
mm-hmm.
and it's literally about screening food for the group, right? Because we were the ones who
Yeah.
were preparing the food and picking the berries and foraging and having to know what's rotten and what's not, right? Which is why
Mm-hmm.
we smell things that are rotten. We're very very sensitive to the smell of the garbage rotting. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's fine. I don't smell nothing. Meanwhile, it's like, yo, the whole house and you can smell it. It's so terrible. And they don't smell anything, right? So their sense of smell is weaker than ours. But also, a lot of people have never come across anyone to tell them anything. Being real, no one has ever been
Mm-hmm.
honest with them. So because no one's ever been honest with them, they
Right.
don't know. They honestly don't. We had this conversation about women and BV and yeast infections, right? And some women who have long-standing ones, and no one, they're like, they think that it's fine because guys will sleep with them and whatever, and so no one ever tells them, yo, you smell fishy as
Yeah.
hell, and that's not normal, right? And they don't know. No one told them. Right, so they've been running around for years, not understanding. Everyone's talking about it, and they didn't know because no one bothered to be honest with them. And that's why I tell people. That's why I actually take the time, because I recognize that if you knew your breath was stank as hell, there's no way you would be talking to me trying to get my number, right? So that means you must not know, right? There's no way that if you thought your whole body was repellent as hell, that you'd be trying to get my number. And if you did come up to me because you just couldn't miss the opportunity, you'd be apologizing as hell because you know you smell stank. So the only reason why you come to me at this point is because you don't know better. So I feel the need,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm not your teacher. I'm not going to teach you everything about how to wash your balls and stuff, but I'm just saying, like, I'll let you know something. And then that way, because I might be the only honest person you encounter in your whole entire life. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't get told the truth. We have to be honest. I think we
Yeah.
have to be honest a little bit more often. I do.
Yeah. That's why I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. I said, think about it. More people laugh at people, talk about them behind their back instead of just saying, pull the person to
Yeah.
the side, baby, you got some stain here, breath here, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
They'll rather laugh at you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know
Mm-hmm.
something, y'all? Okay, so we're talking about breath and talking about oral hygiene. So being here in the South, we have a lot of individuals with the gold teeth, and then not
Mm-hmm.
only the gold teeth, but some. There was one of interest to me to that the fronts were gone. All four front were gone.
The there.
And,
Is that what you're saying? Nothing to
uh,
there.
no,
Well, you know,
and
girl, you know, I'm telling
actually,
you,
I just want the thing. You
you
said
know,
that
thing with
there.
Regina,
So
I'm gonna
is
have to
it
let you
sharp?
know something real quick now. I'm gonna have to let you know something real quick. Now you know you find this if you find this frog here, I'm gonna let you have it tonight.
No.
You gonna get all this loving tonight. Wow, that's crazy.
Okay. So wait a minute. So, Char, for one, okay, for
Oh my
one,
god.
it wasn't that bad. It wasn't. He has learned to
Hmm.
control it. He has learned how to control his talk when he talked to you. It wasn't
That
that
did
bad.
good.
It,
That
it,
did
it,
good.
it
Hmm.
was really good. That was good. Um, and I mean, grow, got farmland and everything. I mean, four wheelers and got his mom on one side of the property. He's on the other side of the property. I mean, just a black. But your fronts is going, and women are down there now. Don't get me wrong. Women are down there in that little country town fighting over him. They're down there fighting over.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Hmm.
my brother had to tell me, sis, you might be missing out on something, but
Can't get past it, huh?
I just can't.
That's
Too
funny.
many gaps in that picket fence, huh?
It's too many, and I have gaps in my teeth. You know, I'm a thruster too, but my goodness, for them to be gone, and then and now to get to piggyback on what was said about telling somebody. So when, because I started telling them, I said we cousins now. I done slept at the house. Joyce done let me at the house. We cousins. You know, that's what I told. And my coworker, she's the one that, and former coworker, she's the one that invited me down, and that's her cousin. And she said, yeah, I had to tell him, why don't you get that fixed? So it's been said to him
Hmm.
that, why don't you? Because I'm like, do I need to be the one? You ran all your family. People come down here for these trail rides and stuff, and ain't nobody said nothing to you. That you a good man, you are hard working, and you do all this, but you can't get. You can buy horses, cows, and stuff. You can buy all that, but you can't get them folk in the front feet. I just can't.
Yeah. Now, see, in that instance, if he's interested in me, the way I would have approached that is, well, um, I would only date you if you got your teeth fixed.
See, I couldn't even say that, Char. I
You could
couldn't
have helped
say.
somebody else in the future.
Yeah,
Oh,
because he could
oh,
think on it and then get it fixed, and then the
Exactly.
next
but I
person
couldn't say
Right.
he's
those
with,
words.
Should
I
have
benefit
wrote
could
from
the
that
words
advice.
down and handed him a note.
Hmm.
But go ahead.
Hmm.
no. I couldn't do that. I definitely, I'm serious, y'all. I could not figure the words to say this because he come in just a grinning. I mean, and can cook.
Oh no.
Why
I
you gotta
mean,
come with the grinning?
and
And
come
when he was
on, right
happy to see you, he was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
how you doing? And just and would be on the phone. When you coming back down? I gotta take you on your next one. Yes, I could not get myself. But when the cousin said, she said it to him because she knows of his interest in me, and so I was like, yeah. I told him he need to get that fixed. Okay, so it's been said. Should I have to say it again? Should
Mm.
I?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes you have to say things more than once,
Oh,
Yeah, you do. You know
to
what?
get
Like, I
it.
mean, okay. I dated my one of my the love of my life boyfriend when I was like 19. I wanted to crawl inside of him. I loved him so much, that one. Um so it was a little while in. What I would notice is like when we would go to eat, he would do this thing where he put his hand in front of his mouth, right? And then like he would did it quick and then put his hand in his pocket and then he would eat and he wouldn't really talk much. And whenever he would talk, he would like, put his hand over his mouth. So at first it was just kind of like oh, I guess, politeness. You don't want me to see the food in your mouth or whatever. But one moment I caught something like an extra bit of blackness in his mouth, and we ain't eating anything black. So I was like, whoa, 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 hold
oh,
on, stop. This is a smile, right? And he's like, and he was all embarrassed about it, but he was missing. So like your sharp teeth, the two sharp teeth you got at the top. He was missing both of those. So
oh,
he was born without them. So like his when his the baby sheep dropped out, The big teeth just never
The
came.
Ain't no
fangs,
name.
the
Without them.
the fangs didn't come in.
Yeah, the fangs didn't come in. So he had removed, basically, like he had like clip-in ones, and they were supposed to be able to stay in reliably, but because he had them for so long, the clip was broken, so he couldn't eat with them. So he would have to he could just pop it out with his tongue. So he'd pop it out, stick it into his pocket, and pop it back in when he was done, right? So that way people wouldn't notice. And I'm like, he hid that for a good minute. Like, I would say about 6 months. I
Wow.
did not know he didn't have no teeth, right? It was like, oh, and it was weird. It was funny because I'm like, I didn't think I had a problem with it until, like, we started spending, nights together and wake up together, and he's not gonna pop teeth in right away because we're in love now, right? And I gotta say, without the teeth in his mouth, I looked at him differently. I did. It was only 2 teeth. It was just the fangs, and I still looked at him differently. And I'm like, I felt so bad. I was so in love with this man, but I couldn't. But he looked weird to me. Like, he looked like a weird little old man without 2 fangs. Like, it wasn't the whole front. It was 2 teeth. And even that, I was just like, ooh,
Well, at least
right?
he had the clip-ins, at least
At
he had the
least.
clip-ins and everything. You could have made that work out, but you could have made that work out, Ruby. But my thing would be if I made something to eat and they came out like I don't
Right.
know, like that, I would be like, oh, and he accidentally ate one or something. That's what I would be worried. Like, oh no, like I make soup and you eat it and it falls out. It doesn't, it's not in right or something. That I would be worried. Like, oh no.
Well, no, see, that's why but he would, because it literally, like, he could show me, right, and like look at me, and he could move it
Yeah.
around with his tongue, so it wasn't clipping in properly, which is why he took it out anytime he did anything. So I figured out eventually, he took it out when we were kissed, like when we were making out, having sex. He took it out when we were eating. He took it out anytime he had to do something more than just talk, right, because it would come out. So luckily he knew that in advance. And but I'm like, in and of itself, then every time his hand went anywhere near his mouth, I was so aware he was taking out his teeth, right? So it's just this weird thing. Oh no.
You ain't nothing for saying that. She said, do wop, do wop.
Geriatric. I was dating a geriatric Dracula. Y'all ain't shit in the chat over here. Okay, so but no, that's the thing.
I shouldn't have told my story about the no fronts. I'm sorry. Okay,
No,
I'll
no.
tell you that.
No, but it's just real. See, here's the thing, right? So Vonda said it earlier. She said, "Listen, it's not unreasonable for us to have a small list." Well, she didn't say small, but I'm adding the word small. Small list of, listen, I can't deal with these things. The following things are literally this breaks it for me. I can't do it, right? Like, and to me, that should not include how many zeros is in bank account, all kinds of foolishness, whether or not he knows what tweed versus this material is, just stupid shit people put on it, right? But I do think that you have to be honest with yourself, right? So I have
Yes.
to be honest, and honestly, because I will say, I'm pretty sure that in that relationship with that man, same one I'm talking about, I made him probably feel incredibly insecure because I thought he was incredibly attractive, but only given a whole bunch of variables. So when he was
Mm-hmm.
wearing his contacts instead of his glasses, and he had the facial hair that was shaped exactly the way I liked it. As soon as he took off the facial hair, I didn't think he was attracted anymore. Of course, with his teeth, and there's like, he had to be doing all these things for me to think he was right. Right. So just, waking up scruffy on a Saturday morning, nothing shaved, I didn't think he was attractive. Right. And so I
But
projected
that's
that on
his
him, even though I
nature.
thought I
That's
was
his natural look.
exactly. And so
You
I
know?
was, so even though I thought, right, but me going, oh, I'm going to overlook
Mhm.
that and whatever. But the thing is that I didn't actually accept him just being him. Right. I didn't think he was
Mhm.
attractive just being him. He had to go make himself up into something for me to find him attractive. And so I think it's unfair that I didn't acknowledge the fact that, hey, listen, no, this doesn't work for me. Your looks don't work for me. Right.
Mm.
I wasn't being fair to him. And so I do think we have to acknowledge these things. Like, bro, if teeth are an issue for you, don't date someone with fucked up teeth. Don't, because it's going to be such a constant issue for you, and you're going to think you're pushing it to the back of your mind, but you're going to constantly acknowledge it. You're going to constantly look at it. You're going to constantly notice it. You're going to constantly make him feel, super self-conscious and feel lowly about himself over something he can't currently change. Because if he could, I'm sure he would, right? So
Mhm.
don't date someone with messed up teeth. if you got an issue with teeth, don't date someone with missing teeth if it's gonna creep you out. Don't do it. Like, it doesn't matter what his personality is like. See, because guys say that, well, she won't give me a chance. But do you want her to? Do you want her to date you when to her you're not good enough, and she thinks something about you is just revolting, and then she's gonna make you feel like you're revolting constantly every day of your life? Like, do you
Now,
want
one
that?
thing I will say, Shar, I appreciate your channel, your content. I'm about to get off of here in a minute because I'm getting the look, but
Okay,
The look.
I understand.
I feel you.
yeah, but yeah. So but I hope that you have another stream. I have to look and see of some of the other topics that you had. Where, because I just my idea just popped in my head. The other side, the men, like, what do they not find attractive? The weaves, the
Mm,
makeup,
mm,
the injectable butts, all those things.
Mhm.
Well, maybe they do like that. I don't know. But I think that would be interesting. But yeah, this is a good topic to have because especially when I read the title,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking of like Me Too and stuff like that. You know, what you don't find attractive in the guy, and then they keep pushing and pushing, and you're just like, oh my God, me too. That type of thing. Like,
Oh,
even though
mm-hmm,
okay.
nothing happened, like that's where my mind was going. And I was
mm,
discussing that before I came on. That's why it took me a while to come on here. So I was like, you know what? That's a good topic. So I
mm-hmm.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a fair point too. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I
Hmm.
did actually think I was thinking along the same lines at the beginning. It's like,
Mm.
how far is too far? And then, you
Yeah.
do hear that a lot where people are talking about that, right? You feel violated about the cat calls on the streets,
Oh
unless
yeah.
the cat call's coming from the guy that you're really attracted to. Then all of a sudden it's a pleasure. So how far is too far, and is it selective, right? Like, does it matter who the guy is?
Hmm.
That I say so.
Hmm.
I mean, if you found a guy super attractive, and maybe he was a little nervous to talk to you, so he didn't actually directly talk to you or anything, but you guys looked at each other a lot on the bus, and then you had to change bus routes, and then he was on your bus route, would you feel creeped out, or would you feel like, oh, he likes me? I think he switched bus routes for me, so he can still see
Mm-mm.
me, right? Like,
Mm-mm.
so he's not a creep then, right? When you actually like him and you find him attractive, he's just a creep because you don't like him and you don't find him
Right.
attractive, and he doesn't know that.
Right.
So, how
And
fair are we really being?
not knowing in that situation can be quite uncomfortable, very awkward, and even dangerous, for either
Mm-hmm.
party, because people that are afraid watching movies, the person that's the most afraid, I already know they're gonna live because they're gonna kill everybody. They gonna be walking everybody,
It's
every little
so
shadow. They're gonna be
serious.
fighting the shadow, fighting everything, fighting a dog, fighting,
Yes.
fighting the door, everything. And I was like, oh, they gonna make it because they real scared. They got glasses on, they real scared. They gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
The person coming in that's all buff and brave, oh, you gonna die first.
Yep,
Well,
Yeah.
he's gonna
actually,
die quick.
the black dude gonna die first, whether he's scared or not. Then the bravest person's gonna die, and then the little girl who just too sexy for her own good, she's gonna die next. Like that's how it works. But in
Mm,
general, like this conversation is a good conversation to have. I appreciate you having me up here. I hope more people can join in if they feel free, but they're having fun in the chat.
mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
Nelly.
rolling in the chat,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They're tricking in the chat room today. Okay.
They
Okay.
going, Don Teasy, you ain't shit, man. I'm sorry.
Right?
I will say that you ain't nothing.
He ain't shit, and he ain't never gonna be shit the way he going on.
Exactly.
God damn.
Love him just the way he is, though.
Yeah,
I'm
of
told,
course. Yeah,
I'm
keep it up.
told that I turned down a gum job. Like I
I
missed
saw
out
that.
on the.
Oh, why are we going back to that,
I saw that.
y'all?
I was like, oh
He
no.
ain't helped out there. But thank you
Okay.
so much, Nicole. I appreciate you come
No
up
problem.
here. I have an open panel. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pulling the topics from the letters I received. Tell a
Mm-hmm.
friend, tell anyone. Send me a letter at
Mm-hmm.
justaskchar@gmail.com. You can remain anonymous. We just talk about the topic and not that individual person.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very good. Oh. Well, I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a good weekend. Everyone enjoy your birthday celebrations because I know I'm gonna enjoy mine.
Right. Likewise, girl.
And
Nice to see you again.
I'll
It's
talk
your
to y'all later
birthday
then. Good
too,
night.
Take care.
All right. Later, y'all.
Nicole. Oh, it was
Yeah.
it was Nicole's birthday too.
July
Hers the
30th.
30th. Yeah, she's the 30th.
Oh my goodness!
Right. That's why I said we're all born in literally like a 2 week period. All of us. We're all born in like a 2 week period of each other. It's so cool. Love it.
Oh my
Um.
goodness!
Mhm. So yeah, that's interesting. You know what I mean? We gotta like listen to this and be like, hey, listen, all of us are in 2 weeks, born in 2 weeks. Are we really similar? Are we really
Mhm.
different? You know, how are we, y'all? You know, if y'all have noticed that we're all a little bit similar to each other in some way, let me know. Cause like 2 weeks, that's a cool panel to have. But you know, I want to say this because I like the fact that Nicole brought this up, and it is exactly where my mind was going, right? Which is the how far is too far thing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I do think it's unfair because sometimes what we do, right, is we categorize men or other people, right, based on what our internal thoughts and feelings are instead of being objective about them, right? So, right,
Mhm.
again, because I'm not attracted to him, what he's doing is creepy, right? But again, if I was attracted to him, is what he's doing creepy? If the answer is no,
Mhm.
then objectively what he's doing isn't creepy, right? So,
Yep.
and this is again where the honesty thing comes in, right? Like it's difficult. It's a hard thing to do. I get it, especially as women, right? Especially if you are like above 30 and whatever. We are not socialized to be honest, ever. You
Yep.
know, but it's something you've got maybe practice with friends, you know, whatever, but it's something you've got to do because the guy in and of himself, is he really doing something all that wrong? Like I said, well, if he was a good looking guy, you were really attracted to him and he was just a shy guy, you would probably be flattered. And if that's the
Mhm.
case, well, then he's not all that wrong. The reason why he's wrong is because he's moving on a wrong assumption. The assumption is that, you know, he might be able to get with you one day. If he can't,
Yeah.
right, just let him know, right? And you don't have to be ignorant with it. Again, you don't have to sit there and be confrontational. I think a lot of people think that if they're going to do this, it's going to have to be a confrontation. They're not that kind of girl. You don't
No.
have to be confrontational with it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You could be perfectly pleasant with it. And actually, you know what? A lot of times, a lot of people, if you're smart with it, right, you sit there and you kind of lead it down a story, right? So, yeah, what's up? Oh, yeah, you know, I see you around on the buses a lot. That I switch buses, you switch too? Oh, that wasn't for me. Because, you know, I'm
Mhm.
very flattered, but you're not my type. Again, you know, you could just sit there and you throw it in, right? And it's like a joke, but not really a joke, right? And he'll get the message then at that point because you've addressed it, right? And he's gonna be like, no, it's not because of you. This one just works better for my work. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I figured as much, right? I mean, clearly, I'm probably not your type either. Anyway, so
Right.
you know,
Right.
what are your plans for your weekend? Okay, well, you have a good life, and I'll have a good life. All right, let's see you on the bus streets. Ha ha ha. Right? And then that way you've addressed it. You've been totally non-confrontational. You're not hurting his ego because you're not, and because people hurt egos by setting people up too, right? They set them up. Tell me the truth first. You like me, right? Tell me the truth first. You followed me here, right? And so when they say yes, then when you say, "Oh, I would never date you," blah blah blah, that's an ego shot,
No.
right?
Yeah, that's not cool. That's yeah. No.
Yeah, right. Whereas in the way I just did it, you allow him to save face, right? Obviously, he didn't follow you here. Obviously, he doesn't like you, right? Obviously, he doesn't see you that way, right? Because you don't see him that way. So obviously, he doesn't. Yeah, right. Obviously. And then that way, he gets to save face. His ego ain't shot. You know, no one else is the wiser. Everyone's fine, right? And I think that that's what we got to do. Is because you have to think about if you've ever hit on a guy, right? For women, we think that it's only a big deal to us because, oh, well, we don't normally hit on guys, blah, blah, blah. No, it's a big deal to everyone. To have to walk up to some random stranger and kick up a conversation, and you know, you got the butterflies in your stomach, you're really attracted to this person, you're hoping to God they say yes, you're hoping to God you don't get rejected, you're hoping to God you're not embarrassed in 17 different ways, right? Guys feel the same way, right? So it's like they're people too, right? And they're going through all the same stuff that we go through when we have to do it. So, you know, maybe keep that in mind a little bit. Think about the fact that if you've ever done anything that, you know, is low key stalkerish when you liked a guy, As you were trying to work up that confidence, or you were trying to constantly be in his airspace so he would notice you, right? Like, you didn't find out his whole entire class schedule and stuff so you could stalk him and kill him. It was just so you could be in his airspace more often, so maybe he'd notice you, right? Like, I mean, and think about it. If you've done that, guys do stuff like that too. Doesn't make them terrible people. It just makes them human. Let him save face, but shut it down. Let him know.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Immediately. And when you
Mm-hmm.
see, like, when she saw the guy change routes,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have looked up like, could
Oh.
you take the other bus?
Right.
Oh, well,
Yep.
I see, you've been taking this bus, and this is not too far from where I live. So I just decided to go here, we could chat.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-mm.
I'm not comfortable with that.
No, thank you.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
really like that. I almost feel like I'm being followed. So I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate if you wouldn't do that.
Right.
Now, if I happen to see you on the other bus, that's fine. But to purposely do that, no. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you're, interested or not, but I'm seeing someone right now, just in case, because I'm not for certain if that's what you wanted. But
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate it, and I'll see you around. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get on that bus with him.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, but Char, you brought up a good point earlier. If that's the last bus that's running to the to that certain area, you I think the most one of the most important messages is you are making me feel uncomfortable. I think if nothing else needs to get across, is that you're making me feel uncomfortable. Not that I'll see you later or to hope to chat with the none of that. I think there it's gonna, like you said, be firm with it. That I'm very uncomfortable, and even if this is the last bus that's going to either of our neighborhoods, I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable with how you're handling this. Now, if there's something he needs to say, get off his chest, whatever it is, I don't know, but that's a pretty uncomfortable space to be in, as a woman.
You know what
And to
though?
have, what's
I'm going to
that?
say this. I honestly think that that is confrontational, because what you are doing in essence, right, is okay. So think about it this way, right? When you tell someone, right, you're making me uncomfortable, right? It's basically an attack, right? It is, right? Because now what you're doing is you're saying you're a creepy stalker, and your actions, you're doing something on purpose to make me feel this way. Now that's not what you're actually saying, but that's what anyone is going to hear, right? And so they're going to, I think that's more likely to put them into a position where they are combative, actually.
You think
Where
so? Even after, but even after, and I just even after the change of the no thank yous, and after all of this, we've gone through the motions. This isn't the very first interaction. This is after the different, and I've changed buses, I've changed routes, I've changed times, and you think it would still put them in a combative mode, really?
Well, because you have to remember, right? As again, we turned around and we said, well, if you were attracted to this guy and you really liked him too, but he's shy and you're shy, so you're not directly talking to each other, right? You happen to switch bus routes for a different reason, and then he switched on. Would you be uncomfortable? If the answer is no, then what he's doing isn't inherently wrong, right? So in
Right.
and of
But he
itself,
said his
if like
breath stank. His breath stank. So they've engaged.
yeah, but again, obviously, right? I mean, we're going by the story, right? We're only going by what we know. But I do not think that she has directly told this guy, I'm not interested in you. Instead of
Yeah,
telling the guy, I'm not interested in you like that, I will never be interested in you like that. So, that's it. We're
yeah.
just going to be best friends at the best. She decides to change buses instead of just being direct and honest, right? And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
then right now he sees she changed buses and he went, oh, I could shake that bus too. All right,
Change
cool. Well, I'll
buses
do
too.
that. Right. And
Yeah.
he's not
Yeah.
thinking anything about it. So to me, right now, you address it directly, right? And leave it at that. Now, if he continues, now, if you switch to a third bus and he switches to that bus right after you do, okay, then you can talk about discomfort at that point, because you've been open, you've been clear. and he's still doing the same thing. But I think at this point, if you haven't been open and clear with him and direct about it, right? And what he's doing isn't inherently, like I said, if you liked the guy and he liked you, then this wouldn't be a problem. Then it is an attack, and an unfair attack for you to be like, and you're making me feel uncomfortable. Because like if he was an attractive guy, you wouldn't have a problem with it. And if he said that in retaliation, it would be true, which then makes it unfair for you to put it on him, right? Like, it is making you uncomfortable, sure. But at the same time, don't you think it's a little bit unfair that he's putting in all this effort that you've noticed 100%, but you're just going to pretend you don't see it, right? You're just going to pretend you don't see all the effort he's putting in to try to be in your airspace and try to get you to notice him like that, when you could have just addressed it a long time ago. You could have just shut him down a long time ago and just been like, bro, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And then
you barking up the wrong tree. Yeah.
yeah, right. And you just never look at the dude again, right? Like, you could have done that, but she didn't do that. And so, he's putting in effort too, right? And so now he's going to get a little bit of a shock when he finds out, oh, you've noticed the effort, but you're just not interested. And you could have said that a long time ago, right? So let's all save a little bit of face here, right? You get to shut it down. He gets to save a little bit of face. No one gets attacked today. But, the rules are now laid out and they're clear. And then if he breaks the rules, then you tell him he's being a creep, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think. I don't know. Like, I just think, you've got to be clear first, right? And I don't think that it's fair for you to, call someone like a creepy stalker who's, violating some type of, rule or space when you haven't given them those parameters yet. And it's I mean, honestly, we don't know the age of the person who wrote in, right? But I mean, a lot of millennials and younger, we don't interact with people, face to face or socially anymore. We don't really know how to do that well. So, we're not going to be good at picking up on little cues and whatever that maybe Generation Xers can easily pick up on because they've been doing it. Everything we do is online. We meet some random person as a one-off on a bus or in a cafe or something like that. That's like a surprise almost, right? Because everything online now, is online dating, online Facebook, blah, blah, blah. So, we can expect people to be a little bit socially retarded when it comes to real life, right? So it's like, I feel like you got to give them a little inch.
I like that, socially retarded. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's true.
I get it. And I get it. You're absolutely right, because you can give off body language, a certain type of body language at my age, especially. Like, you don't even want to, don't even try it. Don't even come this way. Like, and I know most individuals can, but if I don't want to talk to you, you will know that I don't want to talk to you. You'll know. And please don't try it. And as social and as engaging as I am with folks, if I do not want to communicate with you, you will know.
I
Well,
believe it.
see, and Don Tisi just said it, right? Because deep down, she likes the attention,
Yes,
just
he
not from
did.
him. So she'll
Yes.
let him do what he does until she gets tired of him, or it goes a route she doesn't care for, and then it's a problem. And see,
Yep.
that's my whole thing, right? Again,
That's the
if she hasn't
problem.
been clear, but she knows his breast stink, that means they talk, whatever.
Yep.
And she's allowing the attention to come. She just wishes it was from some other guy that's not him, but she's still allowing it. Right. And so it's like, you can't then turn around one day when you're finally tired of the attention from him. You want attention from a better guy or something like that. You can't turn around and make it all his fault and his problem. Like, you got to be fair with these things. I really think that, fairness is something we got to think about when we're shutting people down. Right. Like, he's making an effort. He's trying to be kind, whatever. You could have told him his breast stank a long time ago in a nice way. You could have offered him mints. You could have come prepared with Listerine packs. You could have come with all kinds of stuff from the get-go. So that way, at least his breast wasn't offensive. And hey, maybe if he fixed that breast thing, maybe you think he's attractive. You don't know. Right? Maybe the breast thing is just bad. And maybe he just works all night. You know what I mean? He can't afford water. So he's dehydrated, he's overtired, and you know what? He's taking this extra bus ride just to be near you because, girl, you so beautiful. right? I mean, you don't know. Maybe during the day after he gets to go to sleep and shower and brush his teeth and stuff, he's very attractive. You don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe that's just a breast thing.
Who's that player? Who's that player? What did you play, Char? What did you play?
Hell to the no, to the
Hell to
no,
the no.
no, no.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. Here's the thing. Here's the thing for real, right? So there is an actual thing, right? It's called halitosis, right? And like people don't realize that they have this thing, right? And this is actually something that no, you wouldn't smell yourself. So you know, you got like morning breath, and you could just taste through your mouth ain't so fresh. That's different than halitosis, right? This is people with that real sour, raw, like terrible smell. It doesn't smell like poop. It smells like sour horribleness. That's called halitosis. And it doesn't matter how much you could brush your tongue 100 times, brush your teeth 3 times in a row before you leave with 3 different types of tooth stuff and Listerine. You could have gum in your mouth constantly, and what you smell when they're chewing gum is the halitosis plus gum, because it's actually not coming from their mouth. It's not coming from oral hygiene at all, actually. If I remember correctly, it has something to do with like your digestive tract. So it's actually something you would have to get medically treated. And I remember coming into contact about this conversation in, I think it was the ninth or the 10th grade, because someone we knew had it, right? And again, it came from us being real honest with this person a lot. Um, and him going home crying one day and whatever, and his parents, they took the hit, brought him to a orthodontist type person, who said, oh no, that's halitosis, and they went about medically fixing it, right? So there are actually medical reasons why you could have really bad breath.
And
And again,
yeah,
these are things people don't know unless you tell them, unless you're honest saying.
and you know something too, the sinus drainage, especially with the allergies, that
Hmm.
postnasal drip, when that goes down the back of the throat, like it even exudes out, especially when you go to bed at night and get up in the morning. That's another kind of smell um,
Mm.
for
Hmm.
the allergy sufferers as well.
Hmm. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
that actually struggle with that level of breath that comes in, even if you, no matter how much you brush your tongue, when the sinus drainage is going to the back of the tongue, it's sitting back there, and
Hmm.
so the smell is coming from the mouth, even still, no matter how much you brush your tongue. So there's some other issues out there too, and then there are
Yep.
medications people take as well that can
Yep.
cause
And tonsil
um
stones. Tonsil stones are nasty smelling little things in your tonsils.
tonsillitis. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
People
lot of
come.
things like, right, like
Go
think
ahead.
about it this way, right? There's a lot of things we think to ourselves, oh, well, can't they taste it and what? But again, there's a lot of things that can make your breath smell horrible that have nothing to do with your oral hygiene. So these people might be doing everything right. They might do more than you do, and yet
Yeah.
their breath smells like this. And what do people do? Well, they just hold their breath when he's around. Well, I don't want to say nothing, right? Because we're scared to tell people embarrassing things like your breath stank. Um and again, don't have to say it that way, right? We're just saying it that way because it's funny and it was in the letter constantly. But I think what we got to realize, right, is our medical problems. Y'all live in a country where medicine's not free. When I say medicine, I mean medical help at all. It's not free, right? So unlike here in Canada, where if we acknowledge these things, we have the littlest concern, we could just go pop into a doctor for free, right? Most of us have medication coverage for free. Y'all don't have any of that for free. So there's a lot of people who've been suffering with things, and they're trying their best at home to do home remedies to try to fix these things. They think maybe they've gotten a handle on it, and they don't, right? And so again, like, yeah, I don't know you. You're a virtual stranger, except you're my bus friend. But actually, it would be easier to hear it from the bus friend, and easier for the bus friend to say it versus the coworker, right? Because if this person, if you're a coworker, right, you gotta still work with this person tomorrow, right? Whereas you're my bus friend, I never have to talk to you again. I don't know you. I don't mix in with your life, and vice versa, right? So if anything, it's a kindness for you to be a bus friend who's honest. I'm just saying, right? It's easier for you to do it because you don't have to care about this person or their thoughts or their feelings ever again. So you could just be honest and be like, honestly, like, not to be disrespectful or anything, whisper it a little bit, but like your breath is really bad. Did you want a mint or something? I don't know if you're going to work or something. You don't want to go to work with that kind of breath, right? You give them the mint. The next day their breath is that bad. You're like, bro, I'm just telling you again, your breath is kicking. Listen, I knew I had a friend. You don't even have to have the friend, right? You could just I always start, it's so much easier to start with the I had a friend story. So that way people don't feel like rejected by whatever you're going to say next. I had a friend who had halitosis, right? And it's actually bad breath. It's coming from like their gut, right? I had another friend who had tonsil stones. Oh man, those smell nasty. You should probably see someone about it. I'm being real. Like, I'm trying to help you out, brother, but you don't have to. But I'm just saying, hey, here's your mint for the day. In fact, here's a whole Listerine pack, right? And then that's it. Now you've addressed it. You've done goodwill for all man and womankind out there by addressing this breath thing and letting them know there's other options. Now they're going to go home and they're going to go Google it. They're going to Google halitosis. They're going to Google tonsil stones. Tonsil stones you can almost pop out yourself if you're careful. So, I mean, and you might have just saved an entire company of or an entire little department of 50 people from having to smell that breath. Now imagine if someone did that for you, for your workplace, and that guy from your workplace with the stank breath, right? Some bus friend told him, bro, you got to fix this. And then he fixed it. And now suddenly you never had to hold your breath walking by his desk anymore. Wouldn't you feel good about that? Right? Right. We have to pass it on. Pass it on, right? You pass it forward, pay it forward, pay it forward.
Forward. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hey, listen, I'm just honest. It's just what it is. And I think being an honest person, like I said, if you say it without a shred of mean-spiritedness, without a shred of I'm not going to tease you, so I'm going to be laughing with you, not at you. And you do it in that helpful way. You add in those little things, right? Like it's like it takes a little bit of practice, I'll say, to get it real down, but I have it pretty down, right? Where people walk away from these interactions with me not feeling like they're super insulted. Like I have a friend, right? Story time, I know. So I have a friend, and if my nose is sensitive, this chick could smell bad breath from like 10,000 miles away. Like that girl, she's got a nose. And one of the things I remember me and her, like we really bonded on, was the fact that we could smell when a girl is not so fresh, like that you work with, right? So like you just have to sit next to her in a meeting. You could smell her, right? But she can't smell her, but I could smell her. I could tell you've got a yeast infection. I could tell you've got BV. Like I could tell. I could tell you're on your period. I could tell. And so could she. And it was a thing. And we were actually talking about this because our noses are so sensitive, right? And this is how we came to find out. Like, some girls really don't know. They can't smell themselves, or they can, but again, no one's ever complained. And so they just think it's normal, right? They've gone to the STD clinic. They know they have no STDs. The STD clinic doesn't test for BV and yeast infections because they're not sexually transmitted, right? And so they don't know. And so then it was the question of, do you tell them and how do you tell them, right? And I remember we were both like, yeah, you got to tell her, right? Someone's got to tell her. So, it's just kind of like you pull her aside and be like, no, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I have a really, really like sensitive nose, and I have like this really creepy way of knowing these things. But like, okay, I'm gonna suggest you go to a doctor. I'm pretty sure you have BV, right? And they're gonna be like, "What's BV?" You could explain it to them, whatever. I'm not a whore. I thought it. No, it has nothing to do with being a whore. You could literally be a virgin and still get BV or a yeast infection. It's okay. And you just explain it to them. Don't worry, like it's easy. You just take like something for like a week, you'll be fine. Like Monistat, you could just take one thing, put it up there, you'll be good in 7 days, right? And so you explain it to them, whatever, and then later on they come back and they say thank you. You know why? Because you just fixed something. They didn't even realize that they could feel that fresh down there and smell that fresh down there and whatever. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like we take for granted that the knowledge that we have, everyone else has. And the brought up seed we have, everyone else has. And it's not the case, right? And I'm talking about this in
That's
Canada
true.
where this stuff is free, right? Like not everyone knows. Not everyone told them these things. So, you know,
For a
I
lot of
see it as a
reasons.
critique. Hmm.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of reasons. People may not have the family dynamic at home to help them. You never know what their situation is. That's why it says
Hmm.
more people will laugh at that person than to tell them.
Right.
You'll laugh at them daily, but you
Hmm.
won't take a few minutes, pull them to the side, and let them know how they can improve.
Right. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Right. We don't mind doing that, right? You don't mind laughing behind this person's back. You don't mind watching that guy go over and talk to some chick and just giggling behind his back. Ooh, that poor girl. Ooh, oh look, her nose is right by his mouth. Ooh, you don't mind doing that, right? And laughing with your friends, but you got an issue just being honest with the guy and letting him know, right? And I mean, I'm telling you, I remember when we were kids, we did some mean spirited stuff. I remember we had a teacher who had some nasty breath. I mean, and I hated that woman anyway. I hated her. Um, I did. I still hate her to this day. I hate her. Hate her. Um, and I mean, hate is a strong word. Yeah, no, I do. Trust me, that'll come up in a few Ruby story times. Don't worry. There's a lot of interesting things that connected to my sixth grade teacher. Anyway, but I remember that was one of the things. She had some rough breath, and it didn't matter how far away you stood from her desk when she called you over. It was just rough. So we decided for it was real. So we decided for Christmas, you get your teacher a gift for Christmas. We decided we were gonna put a package together, and that's what we did. We put the entire package was about breath freshening, the entire thing, right? From
Oh.
yeah, from candies to listerines to different flavors of these things or whatever. Put it all together. Yeah, yeah. Here you go. Yeah, we even gave her teas that weren't black tea, so that way her breath wouldn't smell like that rotting smell that black tea can give your breath. Yeah, like yo, we were on it. You don't understand because it was bad, man. We had to survive that constantly. Like we didn't want her to talk at the front of the class because you could smell it at the back of the class. Like so, we were about that life. Um, you know, so I mean, and we didn't do it to try to be helpful. We did it to shame her. I mean, we were hoping she would use some of it, but we wanted her to understand why too. That's why we didn't put any soaps in there or just teeth cleaning stuff. But you know, at the same time, her breath got better. I'm not gonna lie. The last half of the school year was better for us. So
Good.
right, thank Lord God Jesus.
Yay. Get the get the blessed outcomes. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Mm-hmm. See, DeAndre said you're right. If I say I hate someone, it's well deserved. It is well deserved. That woman she's a hideous human, hideous, just hideous human. But the point is, right, is that even with her little sixth grade class, we had the balls to do it. If we had the balls to do it, we as sixth graders, then as grown ass people, we should have the cojones to be able to pull someone aside and say, hey, listen, let me talk to you. I'm gonna be real with you real quick. Like I said, the breath smell thing though, I'm telling you, it's a really easy way of telling people, right? And be like, yo, oh man, you got some more breath today. Okay, you know how you can tell going forward though? Lick the back of your hand, right? So like you want to make sure like it's not just the tip of your tongue, right? You lick the back of your hand and you let it dry and then smell your hand. Whatever your hand smells like, that's what your breath smells like to people, right?
Yeah.
You tell people that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you're teaching them something. It's a little trick, and they're gonna learn the trick, right? And then they smell their hands and go, ooh. But the whole thing is, it's a whole thing that y'all are doing together, right? So now you taught them something, but you're also letting them know, like, bro, your breath stink today, right? And you're just gonna say today, even though it's every day. But now they can do that thing, and they're gonna remember,
Yeah, they're
right?
gonna remember when they see you, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. And hopefully you just don't run into guys that you're not attracted to and they have that issue. But in
Mm-hmm.
this letter that was the issue.
Right.
Um, but last few minutes just to say that you don't have to be mean to a person if you're not attracted to them.
Exactly.
You do not. There's a
Mm-hmm.
way of talking. I understand a lot of people are just texting and all of that stuff. But if they saying, hello, how how are you? What's your name? Can I have your number? That's your opportunity right there to say, I'm in a relationship. No, thank you. I'm not seeing anyone, or whatever it
Mhm.
is, right there. You don't have to lead the person on. Oh, oh, uh, I'm scared. No, just go ahead and just tell them no in the
Mhm.
nicest way that you can.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's not hard, y'all. Like you
It
don't
isn't.
have to. And as women, I understand we've built up, a lot of us, especially depending on where you're from, right? But a lot of us have built up this kind of shell of, screw you. So when someone talks to us and we're not in the mood for it, well, screw you. That's the attitude. We built up the shell about it. We don't even pay attention to who's saying it or whatever. We just have that shell. And I get it, right? I actually do get it to some extent, but it's not hard. You can kind of, it's easier to get rid of them by being polite, as weird as that sounds, right? They're, if anything, if they feel insulted by you, they're more likely to harass you tomorrow again than they are to just, leave you alone, right? And then to talk about you every time they see you, and every time they want to, they want to get one back up over on you. Whereas if you're just polite, you politely decline, right? Then tomorrow they might be like, "Hey, girl, what's up?" Like I made a lot of friends on the block, right? Like I made friends, and I mean I didn't know their names, and they didn't know my name or whatever, right? But I made friends on the block, right? And who are these people? They're people who all try to hit on me, right? But I was friendly about it, not provocative, not sexy, not whatever. I was friendly, and then shut them down, right? I am dating someone. I have a boyfriend. I have a man. Yeah, but still, girl, you really like that man? Well, actually, I do. But even if I didn't, I'm not a whore. That's exactly what I would say. We're lying for. Even if I didn't, I'm not a whore. And so as long as I'm not single, I'm not available, boys, right? And then they'd be like, "Ooh, well, where are you from?" Well, of course, I always had that in America, right? Where are you from? Where's your accent from, girl? Canada. Canada. Ooh, yeah, that makes me extra exotic and whatever. Okay, well, you take care. Okay, you too. Try to hit on someone who's single. Right? But then that was it. So by the day 4, day 5, it's like, yo, they just remembered me, right? And I can't remember what they would call me, Miss Redbone or some stupid shit, right? As I'm walking by, but it's just friendliness now, right? Oh, there's a Redbone who's too good for us. Oh, come on. Y'all know I'm not too good for you because I'm Redbone. I'm too good for you because I'm too good for you, right? And you just show stuff back, and then you're good. See, that's the thing. Now you made some friends who's gonna have your back if anything happens. Yeah, no, seriously. I remember, like, this is what I would do. That's
This
the
is
thing,
funny.
right? You try to see everyone not as like an adversary, right? Not everyone's your adversary just because you want different things from this interaction, right? This could be a good thing. That could be someone who can give you an amazing connection when it comes to your career or some other thing, wanting to get your kids into a particular kindergarten, all kinds of stuff. That could be a connection later on in life that's going to shut you down because of how rude you were today. So, just you can be firm, and you can be decisive, and you can say no without being an asshole.
That's
So
right.
yeah, that's it.
I totally agree with you.
Hmm.
And I'm just hoping that people pay attention to that. It's it's not that hard. I know we
Right.
keep saying repeating it over, but it's not. And you
Hmm.
have to take action. You just don't stay silent. Allow the um, guy to just keep thinking that he has a chance and leading, because you're leading him on technically by not
Hmm.
saying anything.
Right. Yep. Yep. That exactly. You, by
Hmm.
not saying something, you are allowing him to think whatever he wants to think, because he thinks he's putting out all this signal saying, "Yo, I'm about you, girl." Right? And by you not saying anything, he thinks that you're agreeing. All right, cool, be about me. Maybe I'm about you too. I don't know. I haven't decided. Right? That's basically, he can take whatever you're saying or not saying however he wants, right? Until you say something clearly, he can believe whatever he wants. That's all he's got to go on. Is his own assessments and judgments and assumptions. So if you don't like the assumptions he's making, which is clearly that you're interested, then you have to say something like, "I'm not interested." Hey, look, oh my God, look, sure, I said it without calling anyone a name or an insult. I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's not hard at all.
No,
Not at all.
no.
And they would appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to keep making all this effort in that one person. Just go ahead and like, oh no, baby. I'm not saying call the man baby, but just be gentle with the guy, okay? His ego is
Right.
at stake. Be gentle. You ain't gotta be all mean and rough and tough with your afro
Mhm.
puffs. Be
Right.
cool.
And quick.
Yeah.
You know what? You got to be quick because I think, you know
Yeah,
what? And I mean, I don't know. I've never been part of the incel army, those guys who get together and talk about how they're going to kill the next girl who rejects them and stuff. I mean, that type of incel army.
Mhm.
I've never been part of them. But it seems to me as though what they are very frustrated about is the
Mhm.
fact that they are putting time and energy, right? It's not even about the money because they're not going on dates with these girls. It's the time that they keep investing into this girl day after day after day after day, and this girl clearly can see that he's interested, and she doesn't just squash it on day one so he can move on, right? And he's not building up hopes and dreams and thoughts and feelings and blah 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 because she's not shutting it down. So shut it down, right? Like don't allow him to even get attached to the idea that maybe you're interested, right? Because he's putting all the signals out there. If you receive them and you're not reciprocating, just say no. Like, but do it right away. Don't allow it to keep going on and on and on. And definitely
yeah,
do not allow it to go on because you're enjoying the feeling of someone being interested in you, even if you're not interested in them. Because then you're an asshole, right? Like, I mean, really, like you don't you don't get to use someone else's interest in you so you can feel good about yourself today. Like
yeah.
that's not fair at all. No,
It
definitely
isn't.
not. Mm-mm.
And as women, we pick up on the signals faster that the guy is interested. But the guy, he doesn't pick up as fast that we're not interested. So
Mm-hmm.
again, you say do it quick. I agree. Immediately. He's not changing bus stops. He's not asking for your number and all these type of things just to be your friend and nothing like that. He's interested in you. He want to see you outside of whatever it is, work, that bus stop, train, or whatever. Be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
say no.
Just say no. It's so simple. No, right? I
Yeah.
mean, goddamn, we learn how to say no before we learn how to say yes. Anyone who's ever had a child or a younger brother or a niece or a nephew knows that. What do they
Yep.
learn how to say first? No, and they learn no around two, and it is their favorite word. They will say no to everything. They'll say no when they mean yes. They'll be nodding their head yes while saying the word no. And then when you try to take it away because they said they don't want it, then they cry because they really meant yes, but they learned no first. Okay, we've been
Right.
saying no a lot longer than we've been saying yes, so you got a lot of experience. Just say no. Them kids, right? Kids are assholes. Seriously.
Regina is cracking up.
Because you're thinking about it.
Yeah, went through three of those.
See, right? Yeah. Right. I'm seeing my
Yeah.
little sister, my godson, right? Every one of my friends' kids, they all did the same thing. Do you want your bottle? Oh, I remember my friend Sherelle's son. Want your bottle? Because he was in that terrible twos thing, and he was into throwing tantrums, and we were not about caring about the tantrums, right? And so, and we're trying. We knew he could say the word yes. He would just refuse to. He'd like saying no, right? Do you want your bottle? And he'd go, no, but he was nodding his head, right, with the tears streaming down his face. And then, so we
No.
would take the bottle away. And he'd go, no, 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 no. Okay, so then do you want the bottle?
No.
No! Head
Oh,
nodding, right?
Poor
Okay.
baby.
Oh yeah, no. Then he threw himself on the ground, and at that point, I was like, "All right, you want to go for a smoke? Yeah, okay, let's go do that." So my friend Cheryl is not about. She does not care about any of the noise at all. It did not phase her. She was not one of those mothers. Oh, it's so hard to sleep train my kid. Oh, it's so hard to ignore that. Nope, she was not one of those. She was like, I'm not doing this. Oh, you want to go for a smoke? Yeah. You want to go watch TV? You want to go do something besides this? All right, cool. Let's go do that. Yeah, she's not about it.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's why I know I'm gonna be an evil mother. I know I'm gonna be the worst because I'm already like that. Like I don't care. at all. Oh, you want to do this? No. When you learn how to say yes, you can have your bottle. How about that? Okay,
Oh
there you go.
no.
Mhm.
You know, I think children, okay, you know, you set the tone early, you know, on how you jump up at night and get the bottle for them. You know, my mother taught me that early, you know, let them cry for a little while. My mama even said that's how they learn how to talk. They'll tell you what they want eventually. You let them cry. Let
That
them
is
Yep.
true.
cry. They'll eventually tell you, you know, um, and that's what my baby. Even the oldest one, you have to use your words with me. I'm not going to let you suffer, but I can walk away, but
Mhm.
still, if I've taught you how to communicate, and now we even are teaching, and I love it. My niece started teaching her son, even if you're not even in the place where you want to communicate verbally, use sign language. More, please. You know,
Mhm.
something even as simple as putting your hands together. More, please. The sign
Mhm.
language for that. Then express that. But you're not going to sit here and yell at me. You're not
Yep.
going to do that. You're not.
I'm
Nope.
pretty sure.
Nope. And you know what? I'll add to that because they have this really awesome kind of like docu series, I'll call it, on Netflix. It's called Babies. Um, and I love it because they're talking about the research and stuff that is totally up my alley. It's what I do. And so they're talking about babies and language, right? And what they figured out is that babies who walk, so once they start walking, the kind of conversation you have with your babies is going to improve the kind of words that they learn and their ability to speak. Um, so once your babies start moving on their own, especially walking, have conversations with them, full ass conversations, right? Like you're gonna be like, oh, they don't understand all these words. No, first of all, they learn like thousands of words a day, right? Even though they only said one or two, and you're like, oh, they learned two words today. No, they actually learned like a thousand. You just
Yep.
only noticed the two, right? So they actually will understand full conversation. So the better, like when you have full conversations with them, they're going to be able to communicate more fully with you. So, you tell them, you don't just say yes or no. Expand the whole, yes, I want this, or yes, I would want you to give me this. Thank you very much for giving me this, or whatever it is. Give them start giving them full sentences once they start walking, and you'll see that they'll start speaking earlier, and they will start speaking more fully, right? So they're not going to stay stuck on no for 6 months, right? Maybe only a month. Then they'll learn yes. They're still going to refuse to say it because everything's going to be a no because it's terrible twos. But the point is they'll know how to say yes.
Right.
That's what the research said. Yeah. So it's a cool thing though. How walking is very connected to talking and vice versa. Or babies moving around themselves is very connected to language. So just so you know.
and 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 it's amazing because didn't have any research, but knew that I needed to communicate with my babies. They needed
Mm-hmm.
to know that I'm going to talk to you and you're going to talk to me, and then and even if, like you said, even if they're just driving, blah, 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 and I'm like, yeah, and I thought that same thing, but here's what I was thinking. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yes.
engaged with them. I
Yes.
truly did that. And my friends are like, why are you talking to them? My daughter, okay, so I started in my field like in 1993. So my daughter was 1.5. And she went in my bag, my work bag, and she pulled it out. And so she was maybe almost 2. Yeah, she was 2 by then. She went in my
Mm-hmm.
work bag. She said, Mama, what is this? I said, a condom. And I was on the phone with my good friend, and she was like, "Why did you tell her that?" She doesn't have a clue, but I want her to know. I'm going to speak to her in the
Mm-hmm.
way that this is educated, and she may not remember any of this, but she knows that that's not something. That's not a toy. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
balloon. That's
Mm-hmm.
not. I don't need to walk in one day and you blowing it up. I don't need that.
Yeah. No, that's
you
not what
know.
that's about. Yeah. Actually, she did. And, there's a good chance, right? So, they've connected sleep to learning. So, if you teach a baby 7 new words right now, and they get to have a good nap. There's a good chance that they've transferred that into their long-term memory. So yeah, no, she probably learned condom that day. Just so we're all
Yeah.
clear about
Kanda. Yeah, I want
But
that
condom.
even if
kanda.
Yeah.
she did, but
Give me
even if
kanda.
she did, even if she did,
Yeah.
Mhm.
she needed to know what that was.
If
It's
Mhm.
yeah,
not,
she's gonna need to
you
learn that.
know,
So why
Right?
not start today?
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to
Right.
end the conversation here, ladies.
Mhm.
I want to thank you all for the conversation. It was good. Thank you, everyone in the
Yes.
chat room. I appreciate your participation. Those that
Um,
donated to the channel, thank you so much. And tomorrow, I am going to have the article reaction, 6:30 p.m. Central. So look
Woohoo.
for you tomorrow.
Mhm.
And until then, I want you guys
oh,
to have a great night.
thank
Yes.
you so much, Char. Good night, everybody.
All right. Have a great birthday and cheers, y'all.
You as well. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay.